Chapter 1012. F***CK. You call this not making things difficult for me? Tendo couldn't help but roll his eyes at Lin Ray. He had seen shameless people before, but this was the first time he had seen someone as shameless as Lin Ray. However, he couldn't do anything about such shamelessness. This made Tendo feel powerless. How about it? Tendo looked at Lin Ray and pondered for a moment before finally saying, "All right, but remember, only 3 souls, no more, otherwise, don't worry, I'll only give you 1. I won't give you more." Before Tendo could finish speaking, Lin Ray interrupted him. "All right, then I'll go find them for you." After saying that, Tendo disappeared in front of everyone. It's settled. Turning around, Linley looked at his mother and said, "Mother, in a moment, the heavenly Tao will bring father and uncle's souls back. However, my cultivation level is low, and I don't have the ability to reconstruct their bodies. So, Brother Feng, can they really come back to life?" She was shocked, excited, and in disbelief. The scene just now made her completely believe Lin Ray's words. Yes, but in their current state, father and uncle aren't really coming back to life. They're just in a soul state. If I want them to come back to life, I'll have to reach the body synthesis stage before I can help father rebuild their bodies. At that time, they'll be truly reborn, so it's fine. At this moment, the old man who had been silent all this time finally spoke. "As long as your father and uncle can come back to life, everything else can be done slowly." At this moment, the old man had no other emotions other than excitement. For an old man who had lost his son, suddenly having his son come back to life was something that made him very excited. "That's right, Layer. That's not a problem. As long as your father can come back to life, all the problems won't be a problem anymore," Huiyun said. She only had gratitude towards her son. That's good." Seeing that they didn't mind, Lin Ray was relieved. Tendo should be back soon. After all, this matter was very simple for him. As long as he made a move, he would be able to bring out a few souls. Of course, Lin Ray had also prepared for the worst. Even if Tendo failed to bring Lin Feng and the others back, he would not mind making a trip to the 9 underworlds. After all, it wasn't like he hadn't been to a place like the 9 underworlds before. Back in the divine world, he was the one who had burned down the 9 underworlds' sacred mountain. Time passed little by little. It had already been 2 hours since Tendo left. Lin Ray's expression grew more and more gloomy as he waited. He did not understand why Tendo had not returned after such a long time. After 2 hours, he had a bad premonition. Please don't let anything go wrong. At this moment, Lin Ray could only silently pray that nothing bad would happen. Another 2 hours passed. Finally, the figure Lin Ray had been waiting for returned. "You're finally back. Did you bring the thing I asked for?" The moment Tendo appeared, Lin Ray could not wait to ask for it. Looking at Lin Ray, Tendo had a troubled expression. He wanted to say something, but stopped himself. It was as if something bad had happened. "What's wrong?" Sensing the change in Tendo's expression, Lin Ray's expression turned gloomy. His heart thumped as a bad feeling welled up in his heart. "I'm sorry. I might not be able to do what you asked." With a wave of his hand, 2 indistinct souls appeared in front of Lin Ray. Looking at the 2 souls, Lin Ray frowned, and a touch of tenderness appeared on his face. These 2 figures were none other than his uncles. At this moment, Lin Ray sensed that something was wrong. The only one missing was his father, Lin Feng. "What's going on? Why did my father's soul come back? What happened?" He understood that with Tendo's ability, it was impossible that he could not bring back his father's soul. Now that one was missing, the only explanation was that either that person was not dead, or that person's soul had been destroyed. Another possibility was that the soul he wanted had been taken away by someone else in advance. These 3 possibilities were possible. However, in a plane like Tianming, the third possibility was automatically blocked in Lin Ray's mind. In such a low-level plane, he did not believe that anyone could do this. Of course, this was excluding himself and Tendo. Then the question was, where was his father, Lin Feng's soul? "Your father's soul seems to have been taken away by someone in advance." What? Hearing this result, Lin Ray was stunned. His face was full of disbelief. Taken away? This answer was automatically blocked by him. He did not expect that it would be true today. How is this possible? In the next moment, Lin Ray reacted. In such a low-level plane, even if one cultivated to the level of martial god, it was impossible to enter the 9 underworlds and take away a soul. But now, I don't know, but what I can be sure of is that your father's soul has indeed been taken away. Judging from the aura I sensed before, the person who took your father's soul is a cultivator, a serious immortal cultivator. Lin Ray was speechless. Looking at Tendo, Lin Ray did not want to say anything. Thinking about it, he was the master of a realm. How could he not know that someone had entered this place? Seeing Lin Ray's strange gaze, Tendo was stunned and quickly changed the topic. You don't look at me like that. I really didn't know that there was a cultivator in Tianming, just like you. Sighing, a murderous intent flashed. The person who took his father's soul was already on Lin Ray's must-kill list. Looking at Tendo, Lin Ray said, I need to trouble you with something. Speak. Help me find a place with abundant spiritual energy. I want to recover my cultivation. Sure. Also, during my absence, protect my Lin family and make sure that no one dares to harm them. Hearing this, Tendo was stunned. Without thinking, he shook his head and refused. No, I'm Tendo. You want the great Tendo to guard your door. How can you? After I recover my cultivation, I'll give you a trace of comprehension of the world's will. I believe it will be very useful to you. Of course, Lord Tendo is a man of noble character. Naturally, he would not be interested in the insignificant trace of origin energy of the Emperor. With a trace of regret, Lin Ray continued, Forget it. Since that's the case, what are you doing? At this moment, the heavenly axiom opened his mouth to interrupt. He looked like he was paying attention to a lackey, and there was nothing wrong with that. Your family is my family. Your business is my business. Don't worry, as long as I'm here, the Lin family will not receive the slightest bit of harm. Everyone, seeing Tendo's fickle behavior, everyone felt a chill. Is this still Tendo? Of course. Linley was extremely clear about how precious this strand of origin energy was. With just this strand of origin energy, he believed that the heavenly Tao should be able to cultivate to the immortal reverent stage or even break through to the deity stage. And Tendo wasn't the only one who would benefit. The entire Heaven's Mandate would benefit. Tendo's breakthrough in cultivation meant that his status would rise. With Tendo's status confirmed, the entire Heaven's Mandate realm would rise. When the time came, the amount of spiritual energy would be even more shocking. That's good. I hope you'll keep your word. I'll also keep my promise to you. Keep. With a wave of his hand, he collected the 2 uncles' souls and sealed them with a special method. Although the 2 uncles' cultivation had not reached the level where their souls could not be destroyed, they were at least cultivators. So even if their souls were released, they would not dissipate in a short period of time. After doing all this, he raised his head and looked at Tendo. Go, and help me find a place with abundant spiritual energy without impurities. When Emperor's cultivation recovers, I'll give you what I promised you. I got it. In response, Tendo turned and disappeared before everyone's eyes. This matter had finally come to an end. News of Lin Ray's awakening had already spread throughout the Yin country. This was not good news for the various large clans and the royal family. They only knew that Lin Ray had awakened, but they didn't know that the old patriarch of the Huangfu clan had died. Moreover, the person who killed him was Lin Ray, who had just awakened. In the Lin family's hall, the old man sat at the top and looked at everyone with a serious expression. His gaze fell on his 4th son as he said, From today onwards, the family will be on alert. All shadow guards will gather in the mansion. Anyone who trespasses in the Lin province, regardless of their status or background, will be killed without mercy. Also, I'm afraid that those people will not be peaceful for the next few days. Order all the shops to close. The same goes for the military. Ask Gu Jun to take care of all the soldiers who are loyal to the Lin family. As for the vermin in the military, I don't want to see them for even a day, and I don't want to hear about them. Do you understand? The orders left C dumbfounded. This was the first time he had seen such a strict order. However, when he thought about what had just happened, he understood. Understood. Don't worry, father. I'll take care of it right away, C replied. Yinner, you'll be in charge of feeding Ray good food at home. After all, he was in a coma for 8 years and could only eat liquid food. Look at how skinny he is. Hearing this, Lin Ray smiled bitterly. However, Huiyin was very serious. One, father. I know even if you don't say it. I guarantee that Ray will be well fed in the next few days. When these words came out, Lin Ray was stunned. It couldn't be true, right? All right. You guys go. Too many things have happened today. I'm tired too. As he spoke, he got up and walked towards his small courtyard. Lin Ray, who had been standing below and watching the old man's back, knew that killing Huangfu today might have been a little reckless, but he did not regret it. Killing people who deserved to be killed was not wrong. If he could do it again, he would do it again. The courtyard was silent. Huiyin looked at her son, who had just woken up, and smiled. Then, she reached out and grabbed his ear. Little brat, why didn't you tell me when you woke up? Let's go. See how I'll deal with you. Lin Ray, time passed quickly. For the next few days, Lin Ray could be said to be living a life worse than death. Every day, he was filled with motherly love. However, this motherly love was too much for Lin Ray to bear. Just like what Huiyin had promised the old man, Lin Ray did not do anything other than eat. As long as the sky was bright, even if Lin Ray was hiding, Huiyin would be able to find him. After C received the old man's order, he gathered all the shadow guard in the mansion. The military and the business world also obeyed the old man's orders. Without any hesitation, the whole thing was done cleanly without the slightest hesitation. Sure enough, just as the old man had expected, the next day, there were assassins who sneaked into the Lin mansion to assassinate Linley. However, at that time, the Lin mansion was already surrounded by an inescapable net. It was as impregnable as an iron fortress. Even a fly would find it difficult to enter the Lin mansion, let alone a person. Huangfu's house. In Huangfu's meeting hall, it was already packed with people. Everyone's faces were in agreement, and they were all anxious. What's going on? The old man didn't come back after he went out. Who can tell me where the old man went? The person who spoke was middle-aged and looked like a leader. Sigh, who knows where the old master went? You have to know that the old master is usually like this. You can only see him when he wants to see you. If he doesn't want to see you, it's useless even if you look for him. That's right, that's right. Once these words were spoken, everyone fell silent. They didn't say anything because these words were very true. Even if it was the old man's own son, it would probably take a long time to find his father. However, just when everyone was silent, a cold voice rang out in the hall. I might know where Grandpa went. As soon as these words were spoken, everyone's eyes focused on the person who spoke. They saw that the person who spoke was a little girl about 15 or 16 years old. However, the little girl's expression was a little inconsistent with her face. Jing? That's right. The person who spoke was the granddaughter of the Huangfu's old man, Huangfu Jing. She was also the person who was engaged to Lin Ray. Yes, I know. Looking at everyone's anxious gazes, Huangfu Jing spoke neither hurriedly nor slowly. Previously, Grandpa said that he was going to the Lin family to cancel my engagement. I originally thought that Grandpa was joking, but now that Grandpa hasn't come back, I suspect that Grandpa really went to the Lin family. What? The Lin family? Everyone was shocked. A trace of seriousness flashed across their faces. The Lin family could be said to be at the cusp of a storm. It was like a dragon's pool and a tiger's den. Now that the old man had gone and never returned, a trace of a bad premonition arose in everyone's hearts. What do we do? The Lin family is now invulnerable. If the old man is really among them, then don't panic. The old man lives in the Huangfu family. Based on the current situation of the Lin family, I'm afraid that even if they ate the courage of a leopard, they wouldn't dare to do anything to the old man. Once these words were spoken, everyone nodded. In their hearts, the Lin family was so weak that they despised them. That makes sense. Chapter 10:13. If Rual Lin, Lin Lei, and the rest of the Lin family heard what the Huangfu family said, they would probably laugh so hard that they couldn't even stand straight. He doesn't dare? Lin Lei only had one thing to say. You're thinking too much. There's no one in this world that he doesn't dare to kill. Of course, it was also fortunate that Lin Lei and the others weren't here. Based on what Lin Lei had promised the Huangfu old man, it was likely that the Huangfu family and everyone related to the Huangfu family were all dead. In the Huangfu family's living room, everyone was silent. Huangfu Jing, who was standing in the distance, looked at everyone's silent reaction and was startled. She sighed, "The Tian family is heartless, but I didn't know that a large family like this was the same." Looking at these people who kept saying that they were looking for the old man, Huangfu Jing felt disgusted from the bottom of her heart. "I'm going to the Lin family to look for the old man in a bit. Who wants to come?" Huh? As soon as she said this, everyone's eyes fell on Huangfu Jing again. They were stunned by Huangfu Jing's initiative, but when they thought about what the old man was going to the Lin family for, they understood. "I'll go with you." At this time, a middle-aged man stood up and walked to Huangfu Jing's side. He lovingly reached out his hand and patted Huangfu Jing's hair. "Me too." Someone spoke up. Then, one after another, people stood up. Huangfu Jing was quite satisfied. After all, she had already thought of many people. "Father, we'll go to the Lin family in a bit." Looking at the first person who stood up, Huangfu Jing said gently, "Although the Lin family is like an arrow at the end of its flight, it was still a top family in the past. I won't be able to rest until I see grandfather." "Okay, I'll listen to you." Huangfu Tian, the third son of the Huangfu family's old man, and also Huangfu Jing's father. He had an amiable personality and was very good at dealing with people. Just like that, under Huangfu Jing's leadership, a group of 16 people walked on the road to the Lin family. Although there were 16 people traveling together at the moment, there were only a few who really wanted to rescue the old man. Other than having ulterior motives, there was nothing else. Even Huangfu Jing didn't dare to say that it was for the sake of Grandpa Sheng's safety. After all, Grandpa Sheng was going there for her marriage. Now that old Master Lin had not returned, she had a feeling that something had happened. For the sake of peace in her heart, she decided to go to the Lin family. However, regarding the Lin family and the Huangfu family's actions, the Lin family was completely unaware. Right now, the Lin family could be said to be easy to defend and hard to attack. Even the imperial family couldn't say that they could break through the Lin family's defenses. And all of these masterpieces were ordered by Master Lin before. It was also the result of his lifetime of hard work. Lin Rei's room in the Lin family's backyard. After Lin Rei displayed his powerful strength, there were no servants in his residence. Master Lin was afraid that these insensible servants would disturb Lin Rei's cultivation. And in these few days, besides eating all kinds of delicious food, Lin Rei cultivated. Although the spirit energy here was insufficient, in order to leave this low-level plane as soon as possible, he was going all out. In a short 6 days, Lin Rei forcibly raised his cultivation from the first layer of body tempering to the 9th layer of qi refining. It felt better. The spirit energy in his body circulated vigorously, and a smile appeared on his face. As the saying goes, when one family is happy, another family is sad. Lin Rei was happy that he broke through, but the cultivators in a radius of tens of thousands of miles felt like dying. In these 6 days, every time they wanted to cultivate, their spirit energy would be sucked dry. Not a bit was left. It was like this every time, and this made some cultivators go crazy. This continued for 6 days. At first, everyone cursed. As the days passed, the curses disappeared and were replaced by silence. In the end, they accepted this fact. In the Lin family's room, Lin Rei sat cross-legged and felt the vigorous spirit energy in his body. He was very excited. I've finally returned to qi refining. Although it's a bit slow, it's better than nothing. After restraining his cultivation and thinking about where he was, a sense of loss and confusion welled up in his heart. In the end, I came here casually. I remember that I was fighting with the Devourer, but then what happened? As he thought about it, the clear image in his mind became blurry. Why can't I remember? What did I do after that? Why did I appear in such a low-level plane? And even if I opened it with a divine tool, I shouldn't have come to such a remote and almost dry plane. The more he wanted to remember what had happened, the more blurry the image in his mind became. In the end, the memory suddenly disappeared. A heart-wrenching pain suddenly appeared. Lin Ray was stunned, and his body kept retreating. His face was very pale. Looks like I'm still not strong enough. I didn't expect to be injured like this just by thinking about it. Feeling the injury in his body, this was the only explanation Lin Ray could come up with. Other than this explanation, he couldn't think of anything else that could hurt him. Sigh. He sighed. His face was full of helplessness and powerlessness. But when he thought about how his strength could be recovered, his complexion became slightly better. In the Yin country's capital, in the palace hall, a young man in a yellow robe was sitting on the throne. A group of people were kneeling on the ground, trembling. At this moment, the hall was very quiet. Not a single sound could be heard. It was as if a needle falling could be heard clearly. Your Majesty, the Lin family's matter. The Lin family? You still have a nerve to talk about the Lin family? Without waiting for the middle-aged man to finish speaking, the young man in the yellow robe who was addressed as Your Majesty glared at him and criticized him. Who was the one who suggested to Father that the Lin family should be eliminated? What about now? Tell me, what should we do now? Who should eliminate the Lin family? The moment the young man's words were thrown out, the hall instantly fell silent. Now that Lin Ray of the Lin family has awakened, this is equivalent to the Lin family's rise. In addition to the Lin family's strength, what do you think? What will happen next? Exterminate them? Do you think the Lin family will give you this? Curry favor and rope them in? Do you think the Lin family will take a liking to a member of the royal family who wants to eliminate them? This possibility was thrown out by the young man. This made some of the people below even more difficult to deal with. They really didn't expect that someone who had been in a coma for 8 years could still wake up. Now, they also had unspeakable bitterness. Even if their teeth were broken, they could only swallow it down. After all, why did they have to sever ties with the Lin family? They even stepped on the Lin family when they were at their most difficult time. Among these people, a portion of them were once Master Lin's close friends and brothers. However, after the Lin family met with misfortune, they all either left or stepped on them. They didn't care about their former friendship at all. Apart from an old man who had a normal expression, everyone else on the spear was the same. Old Prime Minister, you've given us a solution. I'm afraid you're the only one qualified to speak on this matter. Once the young man spoke, everyone's gazes gathered on an old man. The instant they saw the old man, they were stunned. Their hearts were filled with envy. That's right, when everyone was attacking and distancing themselves from the Lin family, only the old Prime Minister, the Long family, didn't do the same. They even secretly helped the Lin family many times. If there was anyone present who knew, it was none other than the Long family. Master Lin was also very certain about this. The Lin family's rules were actually very simple. If you respect me, I'll return the favor tenfold. If you don't treat me well, I won't bother with you. If you dare to cause trouble for me, I'll kill you. It was that simple. There was nothing else. Long Jia did it. He made the Lin family acknowledge him as a friend. Seeing everyone's gazes, the old man was stunned. His face was filled with helplessness. He originally didn't want to participate in this matter. After all, the imperial family and the major clans had gone too far back then. Old Prime Minister, you see, the Yin country has just stabilized. It can't afford to be divided. Back then, my father didn't handle the Lin family properly. You see, that's right, old Prime Minister. Look at the Lin family now. If we don't control them, I'm afraid they'll rush to the imperial capital and replace us in the future. Hearing this, the old Prime Minister was angry. The Emperor was also unhappy. They didn't think that their lover would say such things. At that moment, the middle-aged man seemed to realize that he might have said something wrong. He quickly shut his mouth. The Lin family won't do that. You should know that the Lin family lost 3 sons to protect the Yin country. Do you think a family like that will betray the Yin country? Besides, as he spoke, he looked at the Emperor fearlessly. Even if the Lin family really did that, I won't. I won't have any opinion. After all, the imperial family betrayed the Lin family. As for the Lin family returning to the Yin country, I don't think you should think about it. He refused. He did not want to fall out with Old Man Lin because of this matter. Although he held the position of the Fire Country's prime minister, but towards this country, the emperor, and everything else around him, he had long grown tired of it. This time, the emperor didn't say anything. The people around didn't say anything either. They knew that if the prime minister decided on something, even the emperor might not have been able to stop him. At that moment, the atmosphere became extremely oppressive and strange. However, Prime Minister Long didn't care about it all. The silence didn't last long before the emperor interrupted. All right, let's not talk about this for now. As for the Lin family, let nature take its course. Yes, we understand. Everyone agreed. Although they agreed verbally, no one knew what they were thinking in their hearts. Finally, the court was dismissed. Prime Minister Long didn't stay for a moment. He went straight to his home and closed the door. He didn't see anyone. In the courtyard of the Long family, Master Long sat under the grape trellis and drank tea. His face was relaxed and content. So bad. If only I could play like a person, TSK, that would be even better. Looking at the chessboard in front of him, Master Long was full of expectations. Good. No one wanted to play against him. Grandfather. Just as Master Long was looking forward to it, a clear voice like an oriole's entered his ears. HM. Hearing this voice, Master Long's body inexplicably trembled. He stiffly turned around and looked in the direction of the voice. When he saw the figure at the door, he was stunned. Huaner, is that you? Master Long was excited when he saw the 15-16-year-old girl. If it wasn't his precious granddaughter, who else could it be? However, there was a problem. Didn't his granddaughter go to the sword sect to cultivate? Why did she come back? His excitement disappeared and was replaced with worry. In the distance, Lin Feng seemed to have sensed the old man's worry. He took a step forward and arrived in front of the old man. A smile appeared on his face as he said, "Grandpa, don't worry. I came here with my teacher and my senior sister. They're in the imperial capital and now, so they didn't come with me." "Oh, is that so?" Master Long was relieved when he heard this. After all, it wasn't easy to enter the sword sect. Moreover, it didn't matter if she didn't go to the sword sect. As long as his granddaughter was happy, it was fine. Yes. Huaner nodded and looked at the tea on the table. "Grandfather, why are you in such a good mood?" Long Huan remembered that Master Long would only drink tea when he was in a good mood. Now that he was drinking his precious spring tea, her curiosity was piqued. "Ha, you sly little girl." Master Long smiled when he saw that Huaner had seen through his thoughts. He told her about the day's events. Lin Rei, who was in a coma for 8 years, woke up. Although she was now a disciple of the sword sect, it was a miracle for someone to wake up after being in a coma for 8 years. Moreover, the person who woke up was an ordinary person. TSK, that's right. 8 years. I didn't expect him to wake up after 8 years. However, this isn't too bad. As long as the Lin family doesn't decline, it's fine. Master Long didn't know that his words had piqued Long Huaner's curiosity. She wanted to see what a person who had been in a coma for 8 years looked like after waking up. Lin family, Lin Rei's room. When he got up from his bed, the sound of bones cracking filled the room. It's time to move around, Lin Rei thought as he looked outside. As someone who had once stood at the peak of cultivation, he understood that cultivators didn't just focus on cultivation. More importantly, they needed to comprehend things. But now, he had been in this world for so long. Besides his home, he hadn't gone anywhere else. Although it wasn't to the extent that he couldn't advance his cultivation, he could feel that his cultivation speed was a bit stagnant. With this thought, he opened the door and went straight to Master Long's room. Since he had decided, he had to be quick. "What? You want to go out and train?" Not long after, Master Long's angry voice came from the room. "Yes, I want to go out and take a look." "You?" Master Long sat back down in the room. His face was full of helplessness and powerlessness. "Sigh, the situation has just stabilized. There are still so many clans watching. If you go out now, Won't you be waiting for assassination? Looking at Lin Ray, he forgot how strong Lin Ray was. In his eyes, Lin Ray was his grandson, a grandson who needed his help. That was all. However, Lin Ray was taken aback by Master Long's words. He sighed. Grandpa, don't worry. With my cultivation, why would I be afraid of being plotted against? I'm afraid that even if the strongest cultivator in Destiny Realm stood in front of me, I wouldn't care. Chapter 10:14. Tianjiang City was not far from Lian City and could be considered one of the main cities in the Yan country. There were tens of thousands of cultivators here, and more importantly, most of them were rich people. The Sky River City could be said to be the most prosperous place in the Fire Country, as it was a place where rich and powerful families from all over gathered. At this time, Lin Ray was standing on top of the city gate. He looked up at the two words Tianjiang on the gate with a hint of disdain. A small city dares to say that it's close to the land of the rich? Do they really think that the other rich people are dead? It had been half a month since Lin Li had left the Lin clan. Along the way, he would stop and rest. Whenever he saw something new or interesting, he would go over and discuss it. If he came across something interesting, he would stay and play for 2 days. Originally, it would only take 5 days to reach Tianjiang City, but Lin Ray had delayed it for half a month. If it was in the past, Lin Ray would definitely not do this. In the past, Lin Ray thought that doing this would be a waste of cultivation time, and wasting cultivation time was the same as wasting one's life. So, however, the current Lin Ray was different. Not to mention wasting his life, if he encountered something interesting, Lin Ray would stay until he got tired of it. Of course, this was only if he encountered something interesting. Otherwise, not to mention a day, Lin Ray wouldn't stay for even a second. He would directly turn around and leave without looking back. Please don't tell me that I'm busy. Looking at the city, Lin Ray's heart was filled with a hint of expectation. In a real sense, this was the first time he had come to a city by himself. It could be said that this was Lin Ray's first time. Hey, little brat, are you going or not? If not, move aside. Don't be in front of us, okay? What's the difference between you and those who occupy the toilet but don't take a shit? At this moment, a voice that didn't fit the situation rang out. Suddenly, everyone was stunned. In the next moment, there were people who all agreed. This brother is right. Since you're not using it, then don't waste everyone's time. You're making me. What should we do? That's right. Look at you. You're the only one who isn't moving. So many of us aren't moving at all. What if there's an emergency? How can you be like this? At this moment, there was a huge uproar at the gate of Tianjiang City. The people were talking about none other than Lin Ray. As for the scene that appeared behind him, Lin Ray didn't pay any attention to it. It wasn't that he was unhappy, but that he didn't think it was necessary. Ignoring the crowd, Lin Ray moved. His body flickered as he strode toward the city gates. This little guy is really... Seeing that Lin Ray had finally left, the people who were blocked by Lin Ray finally heaved a sigh of relief and began to investigate one by one. At the city gate, Lin Ray stopped again and looked over. The city was peaceful, which was a bit different from what he had imagined. In Lin Ray's mind, Tianjiang City should be bustling with noise and excitement. There should even be some hedonistic sons of rich parents who bullied and dominated the market. Seeing such a peaceful scene in front of him, Lin Li felt as though he was imagining things too much. Looking at the people coming and going in front of him, Lin Ray came back to his senses and strode forward. Could it be that I'm thinking too much? God Realm, Xuanzong Sect's secret territory. Shadow sat on top of an ancient tree and looked up at the beautiful scenery of the secret territory. Her expression was blurry, and a sense of nostalgia welled up in her heart. At this moment, Shadow thought of many things. She thought of the time when she first followed Lin Ray, the time when she fought with Lin Ray, the time when she shared a bed with him, and the time when she gave birth to Lin Ray's child. Shadow thought of many things, but what she missed the most was the feeling when she first followed Lin Ray. Sister, what are you doing? Just as Shadow was thinking about the past, Bing's voice came from behind. Binger. Shadow turned her head and saw Bing walking toward her. She was stunned for a moment, and then a smile appeared on her face. Nothing, I'm just thinking about the past when I was with my husband. As she spoke, Shadow became curious about the time when Bing first met Lin Ray. By the way, Bing, how did you join the Xuanzong sect? Me? Bing looked at Shadow and was stunned. Obviously, she didn't expect Shadow to ask such a question. However, Bing naturally had nothing to hide from this question. She sat down beside Shadow and began to reminisce about the past. She spoke word by word about how she once recognized Lin Ray as her master. At that time, system, can you draw them all at once? Don't you know that it's very troublesome? At this moment, Lin Ray was getting impatient, so he shouted at the system. Yes, since you can, then cut the crap. Hurry up and draw them all at once. Don't waste any more time. Okay, host, please activate the Warlord drawing system. Warlord drawing. This time, they waited for a long time. It was 4 times longer than the first time. 2 beams of light appeared in front of them. The light slowly faded away, revealing a man and a woman standing in front of them. When Lin Ray saw this, 10,000 alpacas galloped in his heart. Why was there another woman? He originally thought that the rest of the warlords would be men. He didn't expect another female warlord to appear. Your subordinate, Bing, greets the master. When the 2 of them saw Lin Ray, they strode forward and knelt down in front of Lin Ray. They kowtowed to Lin Ray. All right, all of you can get up. Get to know each other, then cultivate here. I'll look for you when I have something to do. Yes, we'll listen to the director's orders. Upon hearing Lin Ray's words, the 3 of them hurriedly responded respectfully to Lin Ray. However, Lin Ray was speechless. Why do they have to call him master every time? Don't call me master anymore. Just call me young master. Do you understand? If anyone remembers wrongly, I'll punish them. All right, I won't disturb you from getting to know each other. After saying that, Lin Ray left the place in a flash and headed to his own information interface. At this moment, the place where the 3 warlords were standing was filled with the smell of gunpowder, as though a huge battle was about to take place. Just like that, I appeared in front of you, became your warlord, and started the expedition. I see. After hearing these things, Ing understood. However, this wasn't what she wanted to know. She wanted to know about another aspect. As an old employee who followed Lin Ray, of course, he understood what he was thinking. Bing didn't hide anything and directly spoke. Cough, cough, cough. That, oh, young master, you're awake. Get up quickly. Upon hearing Lin Ray's cough, Bing hurried to Lin Ray's side and extended his hand to help Lin Ray up. However, when Lin Ray felt Bing's aura, he suddenly realized that his aura was slowly increasing. What's going on? What I mean is, suddenly, Lin Ray's ears recalled the words of the blood fire before it died. He felt that something was wrong. Bing, stay away from me. I'm worried. Speaking of this matter, Bing saw his young master's eyes turning blood red. Seeing this scene, Bing was so frightened that he couldn't move. Young master, you can't do this, young master. Young master. Bing saw his young master walking towards him step by step and taking off his clothes while walking. Even a stupid person could understand this. Besides, looking at Lin Ray's abnormal behavior, Bing was even more certain of what Lin Ray was going to do next. Looking at his young master, Bing begged Lin Ray with a trembling body and mind. However, at this time, Lin Ray was consumed by desire. He simply didn't care about Bing's words, let alone his situation. With a swoosh sound, Lin Li's naked body flew towards Ice at high speed. But Ice instinctively dodged, and Lin Li disappeared into thin air. Roar! Lin Ray roared. His originally cold face twisted when Bing dodged, making him look very ferocious. Coupled with his pair of blood-red eyes, Lin Ray didn't look like a human at all. Instead, he looked like a ghost corpse that crawled out from the Nine Nether. This kind of ghost corpse didn't have its own consciousness and was no different from a puppet. Its only advantage was that it was completely obedient to the Nine Nether Lord. Moreover, its biggest characteristic was that its body was stronger than ordinary immortal artifacts. Of course, it wouldn't appear in such a low-level plane. This kind of race had always been sealed in the Nine Nether. Unless the Nine Nether Lord had something to do, it wouldn't come out. Ordinary. Terrifying. When Lin Ray saw that he didn't succeed this time, he rushed towards Bing again. This time, Lin Ray didn't know whether it was on his own or for some other reason, but he released the pressure of the peak of the enlightened realm. Although Bing was also at the peak of the enlightened realm, she was like a lamb compared to Lin Ray. After Lin Ray released his pressure, Bing's body was fixed in place, unable to move. Woo-woo, young master, don't. At this time, Bing was scared to tears by Lin Ray's action. However, her body couldn't move, so she could only cry and beg Lin Ray, hoping that Lin Ray would wake up and let her go. Roar! At this time, Lin Ray, who was occupied by desire, wouldn't let go of the prey in front of him. Lin Ray didn't have the chance to cry and beg for mercy. He directly rushed to Bing's side and pushed her to the ground. One of his hands groped Bing's body, and Lin Ray's lips instinctively touched Bing's lips. Rip! Linley took off all the clothes on Bing's body, leaving nothing behind. For a moment, the whole room was filled with a spring scene. In the words of the 21st century, there was a scene that was not suitable for children in this room. A painful groan came out of the room, followed by a storm. This lasted for 4 hours before it slowly stopped. Perhaps they were too tired, so the two fell asleep directly in each other's arms. The moonlight outside the window shone in and reflected on their faces. Time passed quickly, and in the blink of an eye, it was the next morning. At this time, Lin Ray, who was snuggling up to Bing, had a strange movement. Lin Ray slowly opened his eyes and rubbed his head. Suddenly, Lin Ray felt something strange beside him. When he turned his head, Lin Ray was shocked. How could this be? At this moment, Linley was completely stupefied. When he saw ice beside him, for a moment, Linley felt as if his entire body had been fixed in place. His mind was completely blank. Slowly, everything that he had done to Bing the day before flashed through his mind, including the craziness last night. Everything was coming back to him. Oh, is this the consequence that the illusory spirit blood fire said? At this time, the last sentence of the illusory spirit blood fire appeared in Lin Ray's mind. For a moment, Lin Ray's whole body was dispirited. His eyes were filled with guilt as he looked at Bing in front of him. Lin Ray did not know what to say or do after she woke up. Looking at Bing's naked body, Linley hurriedly took out a snow-white earthen bear skin from his storage ring and put on Bing's body. His actions were very intimate. After doing all this, Lin Ray quickly stood up and looked at the clothes that were torn by him. For a moment, he smiled bitterly and his eyes were full of sadness. Then he took out a set of clothes from the storage ring and put on. Then he put on a robe that he got from the system. Neatly dressed, Lin Ray walked out. What Linley didn't know was that at the moment when he walked out, Bing, who was sleeping with his eyes closed, opened his eyes. He couldn't help but burst into tears. He hugged his arms and rolled them up. Finally, he couldn't help crying out loud. Speaking of this, Bing pulled back the words. In this way, I became my husband's woman. But at that time, my husband's heart was filled with the figure of Red Lotus. So, a touch of sadness flashed in Bing's eyes. Thinking of the things that happened at that time, Bing's heart was blocked. But thinking of what she got now, the previous blockage in her heart disappeared instantly. God, I didn't expect that there were so many things between you and my husband that I didn't know. She looked at Bing in disbelief. She was afraid that Bing would be very ruthless if she knew about her sister's matters. How is that possible? You are better than me. At least you have your own son and daughter. Look at me. I don't have anything, especially when it comes to children. She was stunned. At this moment, if Lin Ray heard this again, he would probably roll his eyes at them. How free must they be to make the two of them miss the past so much? In Tianjiang City, Lin Ray sat in the small courtyard and enjoyed the hard-won peace. Soon, Lin Ray came back to his senses. He was stunned and did not speak, but his expression was full of shock, as if he had seen something inconceivable. It seems that I have to continue working hard in the future. Seeing that I was checking the dormitory, he thought with concern in his heart. In the silence, there was not a single voice. At this moment, there was finally a voice that Lin Ray was interested. Chapter 10:15. In a courtyard in Tianjiang City, Lin Ray had been here for 2 days. In these 2 days, he had found a small house that was neither big nor small enough for him to live in alone. In these 2 days, Lin Ray had basically learned about Tianjiang City. Tianjiang City was the richest city in the Yin country. The city lord of the city was Lu Changtian, who only belonged to the Yin kingdom royalty. Furthermore, his cultivation had reached the late stage of martial general. In the entire Yin country, he was one of the top figures. Of course, more importantly, this Lu Changtian was very young. It was rumored that he was only 25 or 26 years old. For someone of his age to be able to cultivate to the martial general level, he was already considered a monstrous talent in the entire Tianming. Even Lin Ray was a little interested in Lu Changtian. Although martial general was nothing in his eyes, in the age of chaos where spirit chi was so scarce, to be able to cultivate to the martial general level at such a young age, this person was either extremely talented or had a special constitution. There is also another possibility, which was that this Lu Changtian had something that could increase his cultivation or gather spirit chi. No matter what, Lin Ray really wanted to meet this Lu Changtian. Sitting in the courtyard, lying on a bench, drinking tea and looking at the blue sky and white clouds, life was carefree and free. Dong, dong, dong. However, under such a peaceful scene, a rough and slightly anxious voice came from the door. "Who is it? Don't you know that I hate being disturbed the most?" Feeling that he had been interrupted, a sense of unhappiness welled up in his heart. At this moment, Lin Ray had the intention to kill. He got up and walked to the door. He reached out and opened the door. A chubby young man lowered his head with an anxious expression on his face. When the door opened, the person at the door heard the sound of the door opening and looked up. When he saw Lin Ray's figure at the door, the young man was stunned. He smiled and said, "Master, I did what you asked me to do. For 2 days, I squatted in front of the city lord's mansion, not eating or drinking. Finally, after 2 days, Lu Changtian has arrived." "Oh, is that so?" Although Lin Ray didn't believe it, since the other party said that he had waited for so long, Lin Ray had to go regardless of the final result. After all, he was curious about Lu Changtian's identity and how he could cultivate so quickly. "That's right. Lord Lu is eating at Wanwen Restaurant. I heard that an elder from the Sword Sect brought a few disciples here to recruit new students, so Lord Lu went." Sword Sect. He had heard about this Sword Sect many times since he woke up. He really didn't know how powerful this Sword Sect was, and there was also the matter of the Huangfu family. Lin Li wouldn't be merciful towards the matters of the Huangfu clan, especially since he knew that sooner or later he would have to leave. Thus, before he left, he wanted to help the clan deal with anyone, anything that could threaten the clan, leaving nothing behind. If the Lin family was the enemy of the entire Tianming, Lin Ray wouldn't mind killing all the people who were enemies of the Lin family. Although it seemed cruel, Lin Ray felt that it was worth it. The person who had come to inform Lin Li was called Long Bao, and he was a native of Sky River City. The reason he obeyed Lin Li was because Lin Li had given him the life he wanted, and because Lin Li had saved his mother and sister who had died. Since then, the young man had followed Lin Li. Lin Ray felt helpless about the young man. He tried to coax him to leave several times, but in the end, it was useless. The informant was a native of Tianjiang City, so he could easily find him by using his connections. Lin Ray gave up on this. Regaining his senses, he raised his head and looked at Long Bao. He took out a silver coin and handed it to him, saying, "I'll leave this matter to you. If you want to see it, it will be noon. You should hurry back. Your mother has just recovered from her illness and needs someone to take care of her." No. Master, you already cured my mother's illness. I definitely won't accept this money. I'm very happy to do something for you. Moreover, my mother is willing to let me work for you." As he spoke, he hurriedly pushed Lin Li's hand away from the silver coin. These were his heartfelt words. In his heart, his mother was always number one. His mother's words were like an imperial edict, especially since Lin Ray saved his mother. This made Long Bao rely on Lin Ray even more. However, There was another idea that Long Bao had been thinking about for the past 2 days. It was none other than the medical skills that Lin Ray displayed 2 days ago. Although he was a commoner, especially a poor one who didn't study, he knew that skills needed to be learned. If you want to win the respect of others, you must first respect yourself. At the same time, you also need to have skills. Therefore, after seeing Lin Ray's magical medical skills, Long Bao fell in love with him. He swore that he must learn Lin Ray's medical skills. Lin Ray will leave sooner or later. This time, his mother didn't have a big problem. But what about next time? Would a kind-hearted person like Lin Li, with such powerful medical skills, lend a helping hand the next time? Regarding this point, no one can say. Long Bao didn't dare to gamble. He didn't want to gamble. He always believed that his fate was in his own hands and not in the hands of the heavens. Lin Ray's expression froze when he saw Long Bao's reaction. I didn't give you the money to let you eat. It's to let you buy some supplements for your mother. Your mother has just woken up. Her body is sick and she has been malnourished for many years. Although she has been cured this time, she still needs to replenish the nutrients that she lost in the past few years. This time, Lin Ray didn't care whether Long Bao accepted it or not. He directly stuffed the silver coins into Long Bao's clothes. Without saying anything, he turned around and walked into the house. Looking at Lin Ray's back as he left, Long Bao wanted to say something. But at this time, he realized that he had already said too many words of thanks. This won't do. It seems that I have to work harder for the master in the future. Otherwise, as if he had decided on something, he clenched his fists. The determination on his face was shocking. Dong. After thinking it through, Long Bao closed the door and left to buy supplements and food for his mother. Do you think I don't know what you're thinking? In his mind, he felt that Long Bao had already left. A hint of interest appeared at the corner of his mouth. If you want to learn skills, you have to go through me. Otherwise, if you accept a white-haired wolf as your disciple, you'll be at a disadvantage in the end. After saying that, his original smile disappeared and he looked forward. Thinking about what Long Ban said just now, the interest on Lin Ray's face became even stronger. Lu Changtian, Sword Sect. I hope you don't disappoint me. If not, it won't be fun anymore. Taking a step forward, Lin Ray instantly used the butterfly steps. In the next moment, his entire body was like the hope of a butterfly. He left the house in the air and quickly rushed towards Wangwen Restaurant after finding the right direction. In the autumn moon room on the second floor of Wangwen Restaurant, 3 young men, a young woman, and an old man were sitting together. Of course, only 1 young man and 1 old man were actually sitting. As for the remaining 2 men and 1 woman, they were standing obediently and looking behind them, not daring to have the slightest bit of rash behavior. If Long Bao was here and saw the young man with a jade-like face, sword-like eyebrows and starry eyes, he would definitely excitedly jump up and say that this was Lord Lu or something like that. Elder Wang Yun, how many people do you plan to recruit into the Sword Sect this time? Looking at Lu Changtian, Wang Yun stared blankly for a moment, then immediately smiled. That's hard to say. After all, it depends on fate. Of course, more importantly, it depends on whether or not that person has the talent for martial cultivation. Lu Changtian. This sentence was too broad and the scope was too wide. After all, the entire Tianjiang city had a population of several million. Although the requirements for recruiting disciples were below the age of 15 or 16, there were still many children of that age in the entire Tianjiang city. Okay, I won't tease you anymore. To be honest, this time, my sword sect is going to open its doors to recruit disciples. Moreover, the demand for disciples is very large. It can be said that this is the first time we have recruited so many disciples apart from the opening of the sect. However, don't be happy too early. Although there are many people in Tianjiang City who meet the requirements, the basic number of people we are recruiting this time is people with 5th grade aptitude. What? Hearing Wang Yun's words, Lu Changtian immediately stood up from his chair and looked at Wang Yun with a shocked and astonished expression. 5th grade aptitude? Yes, 5th grade aptitude. Wang Yun was especially serious about this. The Destiny Realm had always been divided into 10 levels. Levels 1 to 3 were human-grade aptitude. Levels 4 to 6 were earth-grade aptitude. Levels 7 to 9 were heaven-grade aptitude. And levels 10 were divine-grade aptitude. However, people with divine-grade aptitude had not appeared in the Destiny Realm for tens of thousands of years. Therefore, basically, there were only heaven-grade aptitudes in the Destiny Realm because divine-grade aptitude had never appeared. Of course, this was only limited to the fact that it had not appeared in the past tens of thousands of years. Looking at Lu Changtian, Wang Yun sighed and said, "Now you know what I meant when I said that it might not necessarily be the case." Earth-grade aptitude. Not to mention Tianjiang City, even the entire Yin country would find it difficult to recruit a group of people, so I understand this. Before Wang Yin could finish, Lu Changtian interrupted him with a disappointed expression. In his opinion, as long as Tianjiang City recruited more people, he would be proud. After all, this was a city under his jurisdiction. If the city was in trouble, they would come back to help. But now this idea was ruined. It would be a miracle if 5 people with Earth-grade aptitude appeared in Tianjiang City. Sigh, forget it, let's leave it to fate. After saying that casually, he picked up the cup on the table and drank it in one gulp. Wang Yun, who was sitting opposite him, was also very helpless. When he first heard this news, he felt the same as Lu Changtian. However, there was nothing he could do. The sect leader had personally issued an order. If he did not follow the order, he would be the one to be punished in the end. At this moment, the scene was quiet. No one spoke. They just kept looking at each other, especially the 3 people standing behind Wang Yin. They were so embarrassed that they wanted to explode. 5th grade aptitude, earth grade aptitude. It's getting more and more interesting. Such a small sect actually wants to recruit earth grade aptitude disciples. It seems that they have big plans. At this moment on the roof, Lin Rei sat on the eaves and listened to the conversation between Lu Changtian and Wang Yin. He was shocked and fell in a deep thought. To be honest, Lin Rei did not have much of an impact on this sword sect. The only person he had heard about this sword sect was from the old man on Huangfu. Combining this information, the only thing he could realize was that this sword sect was very big in their eyes. It was so big that people like them had no choice but to curry favor with it. Who is it? Suddenly, a loud shout exploded in Lin Rei's ears. F***CK. I forgot to restrain my aura. He lowered his head and looked down, speechless. Mountain-splitting palm, come down. In the room, Lu Changtian sensed an aura flashing on the roof. Without any hesitation, he used the mountain-splitting palm and jumped up to slap the place where Lin Rei's aura was. Good timing. Sensing the fierce aura coming from below, Lin Li's expression changed. Excitement appeared on his face as he raised his astral finger and jabbed downwards. This time, Lin Rei used his pure cultivation. However, even so, just a high-level battle technique like the Star Finger was not something this low-level plane could compare with. Bang! A roar resounded through the entire Wangwen restaurant. A huge movement appeared on the roof of the room Lu Changtian was in. The fragments of the roof fell into the room. Whoosh! In the air, 2 figures collided and separated in an instant. It looked like neither of them could do anything to the other. However, only the parties involved knew the truth. How can this be? This person's cultivation. Returning to the room, Lu Changtian looked up at Lin Rei in shock. He felt waves of pain coming from his palm and his entire arm. Not bad, the mountain-splitting palm. It would be better if it was perfected. Feeling Lu Changtian's mountain-splitting palm, Lin Rei said. However, he could not hide the pity in his expression. Unfortunately, this kind of martial technique is just a small trick. It can't be used in the Grand Hall. Bastard. Lin Rei did not hide his words. They were all heard by Lu Changtian and Wang Yun. Lu Changtian heard someone insulting his martial technique. As a proud person, how could he tolerate it? You're still not convinced. Lin Rei felt Lu Changtian's intention. However, Lin Rei still did not avoid it. He got up and jumped into the room. He glanced at everyone and paused on Wang Yun. He did not even look at the others. This person, at the side, the only woman saw that Lin Rei's gaze did not stop on her at all. A sense of defeat suddenly surged in her heart. At this moment, the woman began to wonder if she was not charming enough and did not look beautiful from time to time. "May I ask who you are?" At the side, Wang Yun looked at Lin Rei and did not make a move. From the battle, just now, he could tell that the young man in front of him had a high cultivation. He was so young that he could only be a friend and not an enemy. You are the Sword Sect's elder Wang Yu." Looking at Wang Yu, Lin Rei opened his mouth and revealed the other party's identity. Yes, yes. Not bad. Peak martial, general cultivation. You're only one step away from the next realm. Heh, you can also enter the next realm quickly. Chapter 10:16. At this moment, the way Wang Yun looked at Lin Rei was even more different. Others might not know, but he was very clear about his cultivation level. Just as Lin Rei had said just now, the peak of the martial general realm was only one step away from the next realm. However, this last step was not something that could be taken casually. Some martial cultivators were trapped for 20 years, 30 years, or even their entire lives because of this last step. Therefore, the price of this last step was too great. If they did not deal with it properly, their lives would be over. He chuckled and ignored everyone. He went to a WeChat merchant's place and sat down. He glanced at Lu Changtian and said, "I made an unintentional mistake just now. I hope Lord Lu won't take offense." As he spoke, he cupped his hands, but he did not look apologetic at all. Lu Changtian snorted coldly and did not accept this form of apology. However, Wang Yun, who was at the side, was different. Seeing that Lin Rei was so humble, he immediately said, No, fellow Taoist, you must be joking. May I know which sect fellow Taoist is from? Why have I heard of your name in books before?" "Me? I'm Lin Rei." As for the sect, he looked at Wang Yun. He was not lying, as there was no need for him to say that. Lin Rei. But what surprised Linley was that he didn't know who he was. Who would have thought that as soon as he said his name, a cry of surprise could be heard in the room? This exclamation really gave Lin Rei a fright. Lin Rei looked in the direction of the voice and saw a girl's figure appear in front of Lin Rei. "You are." He did not know this girl. No matter how hard he tried, he could not remember this person. Looking at Lin Rei, Wang Yun was stunned. Then, he quickly introduced her. "Fellow Taoist Lin, I'm really sorry. This is my beloved disciple, Long Huaner." Long Huaner. Hearing this name, Lin Rei was even more certain that he had never seen it before. If he had seen it before, there was no way that Lin Rei would not have recognized it. "Hurry up and apologize to fellow Taoist Lin." Sensing the change in Lin Rei's mood, Wang Yun turned her head and scolded Long Huaner. I apologize." Looking at her master, Wang Yun, Long Huaner was frightened. In the past, Wang Yun had never spoken loudly to her, not even scolded her, but now, "Junior sister, hurry up and apologize to Senior Lin. Although he may be a little young, his cultivation base is strong. That alone is enough." "That's right, junior sister. Hurry up and apologize to Senior Lin. This matter is indeed your fault." At this moment, the two senior brothers beside her both spoke up to persuade her. Long Huana knew the two of them very well. They were usually arrogant, self-righteous, and did not put others in their eyes at all. But now she understood that she might have really done something wrong. Thinking of this, she raised her head to look at Lin Rei's young face and said, I'm sorry. I was rash and offended Senior Lin. I hope Senior won't take issue with me." Although she said that, she still had many doubts about Lin Rei. For example, she had heard the name Lin Rei from her father. Moreover, she also knew a little about Lin Rei's deeds. Now that he had woken up after being in a coma for 8 years, she could not associate Lin Rei, who had been in a coma for 8 years, with this powerful cultivator in front of her. The two of them were two completely different people. It was as if one was a rich family's young master, and the other was a roadside beggar. There was no relationship between the two of them at all. However, Lin Rei did not know what Long Huaner was thinking and did not want to know. Seeing her apologize, Lin Rei nodded. All right, the ignorant are fearless. Just be careful next time. After saying that, Lin Rei ignored Long Huaner and did not even look at her. It was as if she did not exist. Seeing Lu Changtian's covetous look, Lin Rei chuckled and stood up. You don't have to be so wary of me. I'm really just passing by. Oh, right. As if thinking of something, he said, Huangfu's Huangfu Jing is a seed that your sword sect has taken a fancy to. N. Huangfu Jing. As an elder of the sword sect, hearing this, Wang Yun was startled and fell into deep thought. After a while, she regained her senses and nodded. I think so. She seems to be a seed that junior brother Huang Zhong has taken a fancy to. I'm not particularly sure about this. And it seems like it's true. Hearing that Huangfu Jing is really a seed that the people of the sword sect have taken a fancy to, killing intent suddenly surged in his heart like a tidal wave. The gentleness on his face was no longer there. What? You're acquainted with Huangfu Jing. As a general-level expert, he naturally could sense the killing intent emanating from Linley. I know her. Suddenly, the tone of his voice changed. A terrifying, baleful aura rushed out of his body and filled the entire room and even the entire restaurant. Go back and tell that Huang Zhong of yours. If he doesn't want to die, then obediently stay in the sword sect. Don't come out and meddle in other people's business. Otherwise, don't blame me for being merciless. Oh, that's right. I don't like to leave trouble for myself. So, if Huang Zhong doesn't listen and insists on coming out, then not only will Huang Zhong die, your entire sword sect, including you and your disciples, will all die. What was this? Was this a naked threat? As a peak martial general expert who was only one step away from the next realm, his dignity was not something that could be trampled on. However, when Wang Yun was about to attack, the surrounding baleful aura instantly condensed and enveloped Wang Yun. At this moment, Wang Yun could feel as if the god of death had grabbed his throat. If he dared to move, then his throat and even his life would be instantly obliterated. You must not move recklessly. Otherwise, I'm afraid that I won't be able to restrain myself from killing you right now. Furthermore, as he spoke, he looked at his disciples behind him. With a flash, he used the butterfly steps and disappeared from where he stood. In the next instant, when the crowd saw Lin Rei again, he was already beside Long Huaner and the others. Lin Rei took out a blade from somewhere and placed it against Long Huaner's throat. Even if you don't care about your own life, you must still think about your precious disciples. You don't act recklessly. Regarding Lin Rei's sudden disappearance, Wang Yun finally understood that if the person before him wanted him to die, it would only take an instant. Suddenly, a feeling of powerlessness surged through his entire body. This was the first time he felt so powerless and helpless since he started cultivating. Senior. At the side, Lu Changtian, who had been watching from the sidelines, saw that Lin Rei was so powerful. He hurriedly took a step forward and pleaded, Elder Wang Yun is different from Huang Zhong and the others. I believe that he will definitely deal with this matter when he returns. Furthermore, you shouldn't implicate your family. If word of you threatening Elder Wang Yun's disciples like this gets out, it will damage your reputation. As for the matter between Huang Zhong and Huangfu Jing, that's their matter. This has nothing to do with the sword sect. Aren't you being a little scram? Boom! With a loud shout, Lu Changtian, who was standing on the spot, was sent flying. In midair, scarlet blood spurted out from Lu Changtian's mouth. Plop! 100 meters away, Lu Changtian was directly thrown 100 meters out onto the street, his entire body lying on the ground like a dead dog, surrounded by the crowd. Isn't this Lu Changtian, Lord Lu? At this moment, some onlookers recognized Lu Changtian's true identity. That's right, City Lord Lu. Who injured City Lord Lu to this extent? Isn't Lord Lu a general-level expert? Why is he like this? Waves of discussions rang out from the crowd. However, no one stepped forward to help him up. Lu Changtian's heart trembled at the actions of the people around him. and a hint of ridicule flashed in his heart. In the Wangwen restaurant, Lin Rei looked at Lu Chantian's current appearance and sneered. He raised his hand, and a suction force appeared. Suddenly, Lu Chantian, who was lying on the ground, suddenly rose into the air and landed in the room. You! This scene and Lin Rei's actions shocked Wang Yun and Lu Chantian, who was lying on the ground. What kind of technique is this? Telekinesis? What kind of cultivation realm can do this? Martial saint? Or martial saint? Or martial god, who hasn't appeared in a long time? Lin Rei took the opportunity to look at everyone's shock. He stared at Wang Yu and said, "Remember my words. I'll pass a message to your sword sect, Lianqing Lin family. If anything happens to the Lianqing Lin family, then your sword sect will be destroyed. Believe me, I have the strength to destroy your sword sect in an instant." As he spoke, he let go of Long Huaner and retracted his murderous aura. Then, he walked in front of Lu Chantian and placed his hand on Lu Chantian's back. He closed his eyes and sensed. In the pitch-black space, Lin Rei walked slowly. Suddenly, a terrifying heat wave came from afar. Fire spiritual root? Sensing this wave of heat, Lin Li, somewhat puzzled, continued to advance. Time passed bit by bit, and in the end, a vast sea of flames appeared in front of Lin Li. In the center of the sea of flames, there was a piece of wood covered with the tattoo of a dragon. Fire dragon wood, supreme grade spiritual root. Feeling the spiritual energy of the fire dragon wood, Lin Rei became excited. The fire dragon wood was a supreme grade spiritual root. Furthermore, it was an extremely rare spiritual root. No, it's not the fire dragon wood spiritual root. Just as Lin Rei determined Lu Changtian's fire dragon with spiritual root, the sea of fire suddenly churned. It was as if something was about to break through the seal. This is the fire dragon vein. At this moment, Lin Rei was shocked. In order to confirm if his guess was correct, he immediately jumped into the sea of fire. Roar! In the sea of fire, a fire dragon was formed by flames. The moment Lin Rei jumped into the sea of fire, the fire dragon was awakened. It instantly rushed in front of Lin Rei, wanting to tear him apart. Fire spirit, as expected, seeing that the fire dragon was about to devour him, the last bit of the sage's aura was activated. Suppress for me. Boom! With a muffled sound, the sage appeared. Everything submitted. The originally ferocious fire dragon obediently returned to its original position the moment it felt the sage's aura. It no longer had any malicious actions. Ha ha ha! Looking at the surrounding scene, Lin Rei laughed. At this moment, Lin Rei was very happy. The fire dragon vein was an extremely powerful bloodline. It was even comparable to the Tendo physique. Although it was not as abnormal as the Tendo physique, it was still far superior to other bloodlines. Retracting his spirit chi, Lin Rei separated his palm from Lu Changtian's back. A smile flashed across his face. Previously, Lin Rei felt that Lu Changtian's cultivation speed was a little abnormal. Now that he confirmed it, he finally understood. If a person who had the fire dragon vein cultivated like an ordinary cultivator, then this person would really be crippled. There was no saving him. On the ground, Lin Rei's sudden action made his heart skip a beat. A bad premonition surged in his heart. You take me as your master, and I will let you have power that you can't imagine. How about it? This sudden sentence stunned Lu Changtian. He had never thought about taking someone as his master. But now, it was actually proposed by someone with such a powerful cultivation. You didn't reject my offer because I have already made up my mind. Whether you agree or not, from today onwards, you Lu Changtian are my Lin Rei's disciple. Lu Changtian. Everyone was speechless at Lin Rei's domineering attitude. They had only heard of people begging others to take in disciples. They had never heard of people forcibly taking in a disciple. Moreover, the disciple was so unwilling. What was worse was that he was injured by his future master. I don't pa. A crisp sound echoed through the entire space. A red palm print appeared on Lu Changtian's face. Bastard, I took you in as my disciple. You should be grateful and know how to repay me. You, on the other hand, don't know how to be grateful. You still want to reject me, you unfilial disciple. Looking at Lin Ray, Lu Changtian wanted to cry, but had no tears. What the F***CK is going on? Earlier, you looked like you wanted to kill me, but now, you want to take me in as your disciple. Damn it, can't you play properly? This matter is settled. As for you, you don't have to be the city lord anymore. Leave this place with me later. After saying that, Lin Ray began to reprimand Lu Changtian as if he was a master. Look at you. Your cultivation is so lousy. Go into seclusion for 100 years. Of course, I will bring you to some good places. I guarantee that you will break through in a short period of time. An evil smile appeared on Lin Ray's face. When everyone saw that, they couldn't help but tremble. An indescribable chill surged into their hearts. They couldn't help but take a step back. It was as if they wanted to run away from this place, from every place that Lin Ray was at. Can I say no? Another crisp sound rang out. On the other side of Lu Changtian's unscathed face, there was an identical palm print. His entire face was no longer as handsome as before. At this moment, Lu Changtian's face was like a pig's head. Bastard, you actually dare to refute my words? You must be tired of living. Lin Ray understood Lu Changtian's thoughts. Lin Ray was determined to obtain the fire dragon vein. Chapter 1017. Sob, he cried. At this moment, Lu Changtian didn't care about his image at all. He cried so sadly that Lin Ray was completely speechless. This brat, he understood Lu Changtian's thoughts. There was no other way. In order to obtain the fire dragon vein, Lin Ray was going all out. Brat, wait until you become my disciple. See if I don't torture you properly. At this moment, Lin Ray decided to use a little of his divine sense to let Lu Changtian see what a true expert was. The Tao that he insisted on was only a corner of the Tao. Oh no, it wasn't even a corner of the Tao. At most, it could be considered as the entry level of the Tao. Universe evolution complete. Without anyone noticing, a strand of spiritual sense rushed into Lu Changtian's mind. Boom! A rumbling sound exploded in Lu Changtian's mind. Lu Changtian stopped crying and fell into a sluggish state. Others might not know what was going on, but Lin Ray was very clear about it. It was because he was the one who did it. In a pitch-black space, Lu Changtian's figure suddenly appeared. He stopped crying and looked at the scene in front of him in a daze. Damn, what's going on? With doubts and puzzlement, he stood up and wiped the tears on his face. He began to explore. Lu Changtian was curious and worried about his sudden appearance in this mysterious space. Where's this place? Why did I suddenly appear here, but I didn't feel it? This question had become Lu Changtian's secret. Lu Changtian was thinking about everything. Lu Changtian. Just when Lu Changtian was puzzled, a familiar voice that gave him a headache appeared. This voice was none other than Lin Ray. Lin Ray? Lu Changtian was stunned by the sudden appearance of Lin Li's voice. He was an intelligent man. Soon, he thought of a possibility. Did you bring me here? At least you're not that stupid. That's right. The Emperor brought you here for no other reason than to let you know that in your world, the so-called martial god is so powerful. But in my world, the martial god is at most the beginning of cultivation. In my eyes, martial god is as weak and insignificant as an ant. Lu Changtian. Looking around for Lin Ray, Lu Changtian rolled his eyes when he heard Lin Ray's words. He didn't believe Lin Ray's words at all. I hope you'll still have that kind of expression later. Instead of arguing with Lu Changtian, he raised his hand and waved his spiritual power. Suddenly, a light screen appeared in the originally dark space. On the light screen, a shocking scene of slaughter appeared in front of Lu Changtian. The scene on the light screen was none other than the scene where Lin Ray massacred the Qinquan sect. The bloody scene made Lu Changtian's butthole tighten. He was dumbfounded as he stared at the screen. His expression was filled with shock. Looking at Lu Changtian's current expression, Lin Rei laughed in his heart. Hee hee, let's see if you still won't obediently acknowledge me as your master. Lin Rei was still confident in this. After all, his cultivation, strength, and most importantly, vision far exceeded the destiny realm. Kill all of you. Die for this sovereign. At this moment, Lin Rei's voice came from the light screen. This voice woke up Lu Changtian from his shock. How is this possible? What kind of cultivation realm can do this? Why? Looking at Lu Changtian, Lin Rei said, "Do you think this is unbelievable? Isn't it because you think the scene is fake? It's impossible." You? Who are you? Why did you? He asked Lin Rei with a shocked tone. Bastard, I'm your master. Lin Rei was furious, but he soon replied with a gentle tone, I can tell you that everything you saw was real. And that scene was the scene where the Emperor massacred a sect. What you? After getting Lin Rei's confirmation, Lu Changtian was so shocked that he couldn't add more. This scene had been deeply engraved in his heart. He would never forget it for the rest of his life. The scene just now wasn't the Emperor trying to show off. The Emperor just wanted to tell you that this world is very, very big. What you know is just a drop of water on the iceberg. There's still 99% that you don't know. If it wasn't for your talent, I wouldn't accept you as my disciple even if you begged me. Hearing this, Lu Changtian's face turned red. Thinking about how he rejected Lin Rei, Lu Changtian really wanted to slap himself. Disperse. Seeing Lu Changtian's regretful expression, Lin Rei knew that the result he wanted had appeared. He casually dispersed the illusion. The two returned to reality. Lin Rei lowered his head and looked at Lu Changtian with a regretful expression. Sigh, I originally wanted to accept you as my disciple, but now it seems that you don't care at all. Since that's the case, forget it. It's quite relaxing to be alone. What happened in the illusion just now? Other than Lin Rei and Lu Changtian, no one else knew. In the eyes of outsiders, the two were just in a daze. Turning around, he pretended to leave. However, at this moment, Lu Changtian, who was lying on the ground, didn't want to leave. Ignoring the pain in his body, he directly got up from the ground and jogged to Lin Rei. Plop! Without any warning, he knelt in front of Lin Rei and kowtowed to the ground. As he kowtowed, he begged, Master, Master, please accept me. Don't worry, this disciple will definitely work hard in the future. I will definitely not embarrass you elders. Didn't you say that I don't have talent? Don't you think it's a pity to give up just like that? Wang Yun. Such a dramatic scene fell into the eyes of Wang Yun and the others. They were stunned on the spot and couldn't understand what was going on. Damn, what's going on? Why is it like this? It shouldn't be like this. Didn't you say that you don't want to be my disciple? Looking at Lu Changtian, Wang Yun had doubts in her mind. You want me to accept you as my disciple? Seeing Lu Changtian like this, Lin Rei became serious. Lin Rei wouldn't give up on such a critical moment. Of course, thinking back to how Lu Changtian had rejected him at the beginning, Lin Li's heart was filled with unhappiness. Now, Lin Li's every action was driven by his unhappiness. Yes, Lu Changtian nodded solemnly. You don't dislike me and won't reject me anymore. Yes, I was wrong. Lin Rei laughed. Seeing that Lu Changtian was so teachable, Lin Rei finally nodded in agreement. Okay, since that's the case, from today onwards, you are Emperor's disciple. In the future, you will no longer be a city lord. Do you understand? Yes, your disciple understands. Lu Changtian didn't dare to disobey his master in the slightest, especially after seeing how Lin Rei annihilated an entire sect. He knew even more clearly how narrow-minded he was in the past. Yes, Lu Changtian's obedience made Lin Rei smile. Then, his expression turned serious. Okay, since you recognize me as your master, then the first mission I'll give you is to go to the Sword Sect alone in a year. Sword Sect? He was confused by Lin Rei's words that came out of nowhere. Yes, Sword Sect. At this moment, Wang Yun heard the words Sword Sect and shook his head to get rid of his wild thoughts. In Wang Yun's heart, the Sword Sect wasn't a sect. It was his home and his safe haven. He didn't want anything to happen to the Sword Sect. As for Wang Yun and his disciple, Lin Rei didn't avoid them at all. He directly said, I'll help you improve your cultivation within a year. After you're better, go to the Sword Sect and give it to me. I'll destroy the Sword Sect. This is the first mission I'll give you. Of course, you can refuse. However, the price for refusing is to go into seclusion for 100 years and not come out. Don't try your luck. Of course, 100 years is just a blink of an eye for cultivators like us. As for how to choose, you can decide for yourself. Lin Rei didn't say anything else after he threw the words at Lu Changtian. Lin Rei didn't particularly hate the Sword Sect. However, he was worried about the Lin family. It was better for the Sword Sect to disappear from this world. Although this idea was a little evil, there was no other way. This was also Lin Rei's idea of protecting his family. If it was just a glance, not to mention a year, Lin Rei would directly rush up and destroy the Sword Sect without blinking. The scene was very quiet. Wang Yan didn't dare to say anything. He was very clear about his own cultivation. Therefore, he wouldn't overestimate himself and go out to die. 10 minutes, 20 minutes, when 2 hours had almost passed, Lu Changtian, who had fallen into deep thought, finally came back to his senses. The hesitation in his expression was replaced by determination. Hell, what do you think? Do you agree? If you agree, I'll really bring you to cultivate. I guarantee that you'll be able to destroy the Sword Sect within a year. He stared at Lu Changtian, wanting to get the answer he wanted. Not only Lin Rei, but even Wang Yan was waiting. He was waiting for Lu Changtian to make a choice. He really didn't believe that Lu Changtian, who had always been known for his benevolence, would agree. However, things often didn't go as planned. What you thought was exactly not what you thought. Under Wang Yan's gaze, Lu Changtian nodded and agreed. I accept this mission. I'll go to the Sword Sect in a year and personally destroy the Sword Sect. Ha ha ha. Okay, I've been waiting for your answer. Lin Rei had already guessed that Lu Changtian would say this. Therefore, he wasn't nervous at all. Looking at this disciple of his, Lin Li laughed and nodded. Since that's the case, then it's time for us to leave. Given your trashy level of training, it's going to be very troublesome for you to raise your cultivation level in a year. Lu Changtian was speechless. Lu Changtian felt helpless in the face of Lin Rei's merciless belittlement. It's not that bad. After all, I'm at the divine general level. Of course, Lu Changtian only dared to think about it. If he said it out loud, who knew what Lin Rei would do to him? Master, it's up to you. Lu Changtian nodded as though he had already decided to follow. Okay, since that's the case then, Lin Rei took a deep breath and continued. Let's go buy a map. I also want to see where the forbidden areas of this plane of existence are. Plop. As soon as Lin Li's words left his mouth, the sound of people collapsing to the ground could be heard. As far as the eye could see, aside from Lin Li, everyone else was stunned by his words. At that moment, Lu Changtian began to doubt if he had followed the wrong master. That was his first impression of Lin Rei. Compared to Lu Changtian, he couldn't help but feel that Lin Rei was a little unreliable. Why, do you have a problem with me buying a map? Lin Rei's expression turned cold as he talked about Lu Changtian and the others behind him. All of a sudden, the temperature in the air dropped, and his cultivation slipped. No, I'll go buy it for you now. Right away. Lu Changtian wasn't afraid of anything but his master's wrath. He clearly felt the pain from before, and the memory was still fresh in his mind. Brat, you're lucky that you ran away fast. Lin Rei chided as he watched Lu Changtian leave. Lin Rei, who had stood up, sat down again. At that moment, Wang Yan mustered up his courage and took a step forward. He quickly reached Lin Rei's side and said, Say, Senior, I don't know why you're so obsessed with the Sword Sect. I don't understand. Please enlighten me. Lin Rei frowned as he looked at Wang Yan. Enlighten me? Yes, this junior really doesn't understand. The Sword Sect is my home. I will never allow my home to be destroyed. Wang Yan didn't know where his courage came from. When he said this, he was almost roaring. Yeah, you're really brave. Lin Rei admired Wang Yan quite a bit. I will definitely destroy the Sword Sect. As for the reason, it's because some people in your Sword Sect provoked me, so there's nothing I can do. I don't like to leave trouble for myself. This. Wang Yin was stunned when he heard Lin Rei's words. He really couldn't figure out which bastard would be so stupid to provoke such an existence. In the distance, Long Huan Er's expression changed. At this moment, she could basically confirm that the Lin Rei in front of her was the descendant of the Lin family who had been in a coma for 8 years, Lin Rei. However, what she found hard to believe was that Lin Rei was so strong. According to his age, he was only 16 or 17 years old this year. Thinking of this, Long Huan couldn't help but suck in a breath of cold air. Her expression changed again and again. She really couldn't believe that Lin Rei's cultivation was so shocking that even her master wasn't a match for him. On the side, Long Huan Er's senior brother, Zhen Min, sensed that something was wrong with Long Huan and asked with concern, "Junior sister, are you all right?" "Impossible. How is this possible? How can he be so strong after being in a coma for 8 years? Could it be that he wasn't in a coma for 8 years at all? Could it be that the Lin family spread fake news and he was actually secretly cultivating?" At this moment, all these thoughts were confirmed one by one in Long Huaner's mind. She didn't hear Zhen Min's words at all. However, Long Huan didn't know that when she voiced out her suspicions about Lin Rei's gaze fell on her. "You seem to be quite curious about me." Chapter 10:18. "No, I didn't." Linley's words came out of nowhere, and they were cold. Although Linley didn't mean it that way. After seeing how powerful Linley's cultivation was, and how he had casually said that he would wipe out his sect, everyone present felt a chill run down their spines. "You didn't? Then why are you looking at me? You should know that lying in front of an expert is a very unwise thing to do." Although it didn't affect Long Huaner and Lin Rei, he could see from her eyes that she seemed to know him and knew something about him. However, Lin Rei didn't know who she was. This made Lin Rei a little confused. Looking at Lin Rei's piercing eyes, Long Huaner felt weak. She was considering if she should say what she was thinking. But if that was the case, would it bring trouble to her family? This series of problems was not something she could control, especially after seeing Linley's cold-bloodedness. She couldn't be sure. "Huaner, if you have something to say, just say it." At this moment, Wang Yun spoke up. Right now, he was trying his best to get on Linley's good side, all for the sake of fighting for that tiny bit of chance for his sect. "That's right, junior sister. Hurry up and say it." And, "That's right, junior sister. Hurry up and say it. Otherwise, if you make Lord wait too long, then—" The young man stopped talking and didn't continue. Even so, everyone knew what the young man was going to say. Looking at how everyone was forcing her to say it, Long Huaner didn't know where her courage came from. Perhaps it was because she was so desperate that she forgot all her worries. She raised her head and looked at Lin Rei, who was looking at her with a smile. She said, "My name is Long Huaner. I'm from the Yin country's Long clan." "Well, I heard your name just now. I remembered that the grandson of a friend of my family is also called Lin Rei. Is that so?" Hearing Long Huaner speak her mind, Lin Rei suddenly understood what was going on. As for the Long family from the Yin country that Long Huaner mentioned, he had heard of this family when he was a child. It was said that they had a good relationship with his family, but that was all he knew. After all, he had been in a coma for 8 years, and he was too lazy to care about family matters. "Yes, that's it. I wonder, are you a descendant of the Lin family, Lin Rei?" Long Huaner asked with a serious expression, as if she really wanted to know the answer. Long Huaner wasn't the only one who wanted to know the answer. Even the Sword Sect's Wang Yun and his disciple, as well as Lu Changtian, wanted to know the answer. He was very clear about the Lin family. Back then, all the families isolated him, and there were even people who tried to persuade him to deal with the Lin family together. However, Lu Changtian didn't do that, but he also didn't help the Lin family. Instead, he chose to be neutral and didn't help anyone. Now that he thought about it, if his master was really a member of the Lin family, then his previous decision was really right. Otherwise, if Lin Rei knew that he had faced the Lin family in the past, then, as he thought about it, he shuddered. It wasn't good to continue thinking about it. The fear of Lin Ray had already been imprinted in, no, it had already been engraved in Lu Chantian's bones. Looking at everyone's expectant expressions, Lin Ray nodded. That's right. I am a descendant of the Lin family, Lin Ray. The person who was in a coma for 8 years, a Lin Ray who was almost considered dead. Linley's tone was very soft, but even though he didn't mean it, it was meaningful. Linley's words were like a nuclear bomb that had been thrown into a city, exploding and creating a huge storm. As for his identity, Lin Ray didn't deliberately hide it. Even if he said it, it didn't matter. After all, Tindo, the ruler of the heavens, was guarding the Lin family. He wasn't worried that the Lin family would be in danger. You really are. Looking at Lin Ray, Long Huaner's eyes widened. His expression was full of shock. He found it hard to believe that a person who had been in a coma for 8 years was now standing in front of him, alive and well. Moreover, his cultivation was so strong. What? Do you have any questions? Looking at everyone's stunned expressions, Lin Ray frowned. No. Lin Ray's frown attracted everyone's attention. At this moment, no one dared to speak. They were afraid that if they caused Lin Ray's dissatisfaction, he would kill them later. As for Long Huaner, Wang Yun, and the others, Lin Ray didn't give them a chance. Instead, he turned to look at Lu Chantian. Where's the map? Didn't you say you went out to buy it? Why are you back so soon? Master, Master, I bought the map you wanted. Hearing Lin Ray's inquiry, Lu Chantian subconsciously wanted to call out Lin Ray's name. However, the moment the word Lin appeared, Lu Chantian suddenly woke up and quickly changed his words. However, even so, Lin Ray could still hear him. As for Lu Chantian, he was so frightened by Lin Ray that his back was drenched in cold sweat. He didn't stop for a moment, and his entire back was soaked. As he spoke, he quickly took out something similar to a beast's skin from his bosom and handed it to Lin Ray with trembling hands. What's wrong? Are you cold? No, I'm not cold. Looking at Lu Chantian, he speechlessly took the beast's skin and looked at it. Since you're not cold, why are you trembling? Heavenly Cloud Mountain. Something's called a forbidden area, a place where cultivators die. Volcanoes erupt non-stop. Lin Ray was surprised to see this place. TSK, this won't do. Although it's good, it's still not a place that can allow you to cultivate at your current level. Sensing that this wouldn't do, Seiji shifted his gaze to other places. Although the map didn't cover the entire Destiny mainland, it did cover the entire eastern region. Divine Valley? Whoa, Divine Valley. Such big words. Linley's interest was piqued by the name of this place. Fortunately, the map had some descriptions of the forbidden areas. Divine Valley, a mysterious place. After it suddenly appeared, it was shrouded in fog all year round. After the Divine Valley appeared, many experts went to explore it. However, in the end, not a single person survived. No, that's not right. One person came out from the Divine Valley. However, when he appeared, he kept shouting, "Run!" Divine Valley? Lin Ray's interest was piqued as he read the annotations for the Divine Valley. Moreover, from the annotations just now, Lin Ray noticed something strange. The Divine Valley had suddenly appeared without any warning. Moreover, it was shrouded in fog all year round. As the saying went, if something was abnormal, there must be a demon behind it. Lin Ray was interested in this place. More importantly, the sacred lake wasn't far from here. Judging by the distance, it would take him at most 10 days to reach here. Compared to other places, this place was the most cost-effective. This is the place. Where? Upon hearing Lin Ray's words, Lu Chantian walked over and lowered his head to look at where Lin Ray was pointing. The moment he saw the words Divine Valley, Lu Chantian's entire face collapsed. It was as if he had eaten a dozen dead flies. Divine Valley? That's right, it's the Divine Valley. This time, you need to train in the Divine Valley. Although I don't know how dangerous it is, this place is close. Lin Ray spoke very seriously as he looked at Lu Chantian. He was speechless. Lu Chantian was completely defeated by Lin Ray's last sentence. All right, let's not talk about it anymore. Let's go. We've wasted so much time here. It seems that we need to speed up. Without giving Lu Chantian any time to think, Lin Ray dashed out of the restaurant and rushed in the direction of the Divine Valley. Watching Lin Ray leave, Lu Chantian felt an inexplicable urge to become an adult. However, in the end, he shook his head helplessly. He stood up and released his cultivation as he chased after Lin Ray with all his might. Wang Yun and the others were already in the restaurant. When they saw the two leave, they were stunned for a long time before regaining their senses. It seems that I need to return to the sect as soon as possible and report what happened here to Senior Brother Sect Master. When he recalled Lin Ray's words, he had no choice but to speed up. This was because there wasn't much time left for him and the Sword Sect. 1 year. 1 year was nothing to a sect. At this moment, Wang Yun couldn't wait any longer. Let's go back to the sect. Back to the sect? Hearing the news, Long Huaner and the others were stunned and questioned. Yes, back to the sect. Right now, this matter concerns the life and death of the sect. I feel a little negligent. After saying that, he walked away. As for Long Huaner and the others, they had no choice but to leave with Wang Yun. In the heavenly realm, in the Xuanzong sect, Lin Tian's expression was anxious. He used his movement technique to the extreme and rushed towards the secret realm in the depths of the Xuanzong sect. Young master, wait for me. I'll be able to find you soon. As long as I find Xiefeng, with her help, I can break through the space and go to the other plane. Thinking about this, he arrived at the secret realm. The two of them came here to find the two girls. A young lady, Lin Tian, requests to see you. When he arrived at the secret realm, he softly called out to the secret realm. Suddenly, circles of ripples rushed out in all directions. Suddenly, the entire secret realm was filled with Lin Tian's voice. At this moment, on a cliff, Ying and Bing, who were cultivating with their eyes closed, suddenly retreated from their cultivation when they heard this shout. They opened their eyes and looked up at the entrance of the secret realm. Their expressions were full of doubts. Lin Tian? He's back. The two girls looked at each other. Their expressions were full of doubts, but they still got up and rushed towards the entrance of the secret realm. At this moment, at the entrance, Lin Tian felt two terrifying auras again. A smile appeared on his face. He knew in his heart. He waited quietly. After a while, the two girls appeared in front of Lin Tian. Looking at the two girls, Lin Tian hurriedly bowed and said respectfully, "Subordinate greets a young lady today. Please get up quickly. If husband knows about this, he will definitely blame us." Yes, husband said before that there is no such thing as a commoner or servant between you two. You two are brothers, so no. Without waiting for the two girls to finish their words, Lin Tian hurriedly refused. I can't listen to young master on this matter. When I was young, I was bought by madam to accompany young master. If it wasn't for young master, I'm afraid I would have been dead. If it wasn't for young master, how could I have such a status and cultivation today? Seeing that he was so persistent today, the two girls didn't insist. In the end, they could only change the topic. By the way, why did you come today? A young lady, I don't know if you have Xiefeng's contact information. I want to ask Xiefeng to open the space for me to pick up young master. Lin Tian hurriedly said, "What? Young master? You mean you know where young master is? Are you sure?" The two girls were stunned when they heard what Lin Tian said today. As his wives, they were completely unaware. Now, Lin Tian had suddenly returned and even brought news about Lin Ray. This caused them to feel slight disbelief. Yes, I asked the members of the Heavenly Secret Pavilion to check young master's information earlier. In the end, they told me that young master's aura is actually at a last day's plane that's extremely far away from here. The Heavenly Secret Pavilion? When he saw the two girls were so bewildered, Lin Tian nodded. Right, the Heavenly Secret Pavilion is a sect that young master asked me to establish in secret. It's a place that specializes in buying and selling information, and it has taken in some geniuses in fortune-telling. When she heard up to here, Ying's expression lit up. So in this way, young master might really be at that plane they spoke of. Yes, it's very likely. Even though I can't be sure, It's better than having no information about young master. As he looked at the two girls that had lowered their heads and were lost in thought, Lin Tian was extremely anxious, and he felt extremely unwell. A young lady, shouldn't you tell me how to contact Xiefeng first? After all, only she's a saint here, and only a saint is capable of breaking open the barrier of space and not suffering the threat of spatial turbulence. Lin Tian's words pulled the two girls back to reality, and they turned around to look at Lin Tian with extremely strange expressions, as if they were saying that he was probably an idiot. What's wrong? When he sensed the unusual expressions of the two girls, Lin Tian instinctively asked this question. The two of us are saints, so there's no need to look for Xiefeng. The two of us can take you there. But the pressure of breaking open space might be extremely great. Moreover, spatial turbulence isn't a joke. Are you sure you want to come with us? This was what he was most worried about. She wasn't belittling Lin Tian, nor was she looking down on him, but she didn't dare to take Lin Tian with her. After all, they had just become saints, and it was inevitable that they would be a little unfamiliar with the abilities of saints. I'm not afraid. As long as I can see young master, I'll go even if I have to die. You sigh, all right. They had no choice but to give in to Lin Tian's stubbornness. In the end, the two girls agreed. After receiving Lin Tian's accurate information, the two girls used their cultivation and stretched out their hands to aim at the space. With their cultivation, they forcefully tore open a crack in space, and the three of them rushed in. However, tearing open space didn't mean that it would disappear immediately. The moment the two girls disappeared, the space that was originally torn closed again. When the space closed, several figures flashed to the place where Lin Tian and the other two had left, and their expressions were solemn. Did you feel it? It felt like someone tore open the space here just now. Yes, I felt it. But who could it be? Who? Who else could tear open a spatial crack in the secret realm besides the matriarch? Hearing this, everyone was stunned for a moment before nodding in relief. The few of them glanced at each other before fading away. The secret realm returned to silence, as if nothing had happened. However, Lin Tian and the others didn't know that they had left, and Lin Ray, who was far away in the Destiny Plane, also didn't know that the three of them would pass through the spatial crack to look for him. Chapter 1019. The Divine Valley was a place that all cultivators in the Yin country would tremble in fear upon hearing its name. In the Yin country, the Divine Valley might have the word divine in its name, but in everyone's eyes, the Divine Valley was a place of death, and it represented death. Normally, no one would enter the Divine Valley. Of course, only the idiots or crazy cultivators would enter the Divine Valley. Of course, they wouldn't be able to come out. Boom! A thunderous sound rang out. In a forest in the Divine Valley, the sky quan monkey that was washing its head fell to the ground. It was dead, and its body was full of holes. If one were to throw away the corpse, they would definitely see that the bones of the sky quan monkey were all broken. There wasn't a single place that was intact. Master, that's enough. This is the 20th demonic beast for today. Spare me. Look, I haven't even eaten yet. You can't torture me like this. At this time, Lu Chantian looked at Lin Ray, who was sitting under a tree and gnawing on a demonic beast's leg. His eyes were filled with resentment. Tired, Lin Ray, who was eating happily, heard Lu Changtian's complaint. Lin Ray stopped eating and turned to look at the dying sky, quan monkey on the ground. A cold light flashed in his eyes. Tell me about the standards I set for you. Hearing this, Lu Changtian was startled. Then he recovered and said, to kill a demonic beast, you need to use internal strength. You are only allowed to shatter the demonic beast's bones. You cannot injure its body. This is standard. At the end, Lu Changtian turned to look at the sky quan monkey that he killed. Yes, all the bones in its body were shattered, but the surface of its body was full of holes. It was a miserable sight, and this was the proof that he didn't meet the standard. Compared to this, Lu Changtian had the urge to cry. Yes, in the past month, his cultivation has improved, but the hidden strength you mentioned is a very profound method. You have only demonstrated it twice and have not used it even once. Although you know me, but with my insignificant cultivation, aren't you being too good for nothing? Without waiting for Lu Chantian to finish his words, Lin Ray snorted coldly, his face turning gloomy. If you want to be above others, if you want to be respected by others, and if you want to control your own life, you have to do what others can't. Back then, it only took me 3 days to cultivate to the level of internal strength. But it's been a month, right? Look at you. Although your cultivation has improved, you're still at the same level as before. You haven't improved at all. If this were to spread out, where would I put my old face? Tell me, the words that he had prepared long ago couldn't come out of his mouth. It wasn't that he didn't want to say it, but that his master was too talkative. He was so talkative that he felt a little hopeless. Thinking back to his previous life, compared to now, it was like heaven. There were people serving him every day. Other than cultivating, he was still cultivating. But now, not only did he have to take care of Lin Ray, but he also had to practice the hidden force every day. Of course, more importantly, he was despised, which deeply hurt his self-esteem. What? Do you think what I said makes sense? Seeing that Lu Chantian was speechless, Lin Ray smiled and continued. So, now turn around and walk 300 meters forward. There's a Quan Tian Ho waiting for you there. Remember the essentials of the hidden force. I'll give you one more day. If you can't cultivate the hidden force, I'll tie you up and let you know what it means to cry for help, but to beg for mercy. I remember that the Quan Tian Ho likes to eat brains. I've always heard about it. If I can see it with my own eyes, it's really Lu Chantian. Lin Ray's words were like a sharp sword that stabbed into Lu Chantian's heart. A chill ran down his spine, and his back was soaked in cold sweat. He had experienced Lin Ray's terror. If he had to choose, he would rather fight the Quan Tian Ho than be punished by Lin Ray. He couldn't bear the consequences. Looking at the skeleton next to him, Lin Ray angrily shouted at Lu Chantian, "Why aren't you going? Can't you see that I don't have anything to eat? I'll go now." Sometimes he really suspected that Lin Ray didn't make him fight the Quan Tian Ho to practice the hidden force, but to eat. The Quan Tian Ho was famous in the Book of Magical Beasts in Tianming. Not only was its cultivation strong, but more importantly, its meat was famous in Tianming for being delicious. The Quan Tian Ho grew up drinking monkey wine, so its body contained a lot of spirit energy. However, although the Quan Tian Ho's meat was good, no one dared to challenge them. It was because the Quan Tian Ho was a social animal, and they were very united. As the saying goes, when one person is in trouble, there will be help from all sides. This was the Quan Tian Ho's specialty and what humans really lacked. At this moment, Lin Ray didn't know that Lin Tian was bringing the 2 girls from the divine realm to Tianming. At this moment, Lin Ray was focused on his food, especially the Quan Tian Ho. One must know that Lin Ray liked it very much. Especially after eating it for the first time a month ago, he was infatuated with this delicacy. Just as Lu Chantian thought, the reason why Lin Ray kept killing the Quan Tian Ho for the past month was not for anything else. Of course, it was also to let Lu Chantian practice the hidden force. These two were average, but Lin Ray was more inclined towards Lu Chantian's practice. After Lu Chantian left, Lin Ray stretched out his hand and a suction force appeared. Suddenly, the Quan Tian Ho that was killed by Lu Chantian appeared in front of Lin Ray. Let's go, there's good food. Looking at the enormous corpse of the skycracker monkey in front of him, Lin Li didn't hesitate at all. He stretched out his hand, and a small knife appeared in his hand. One small knife after another appeared, and the corpse of the skycracker monkey, which had been killed by Lu Chantian, was instantly dissected by Lin Li. Using a very skillful method, he threw away some of the inedible things. Then, he used a big iron stick to roast the Quan Tian Ho. His movements were very smooth. Why is this kid so stupid? It's been a month, but he still hasn't succeeded. Lin Ray rolled his eyes as he watched Lu Chantian fight with the demonic beasts. Could it be that this kid is not suitable for this path? While roasting the meat, he checked on Lu Chantian's situation. However, seeing how stubborn he was, he didn't say anything. If it's really as I think, then it seems that I have to change my path. I can't let him keep busy. If this goes on, not only will it delay him, but it will also delay my time. Lin Ray fell into deep thought. His mind was filled with thoughts of paving the way for Lu Changtian in the future. Lin family. 5 days ago, the Lin family welcomed a group of uninvited guests. It was none other than the Huangfu family. However, the Lin family was heavily guarded during this period of time. The Lin family still couldn't let the Huangfu family in. Especially this time, they were definitely here for the Huangfu Old Master. The Lin family couldn't let the Huangfu family into the Lin family. If they were to know that something had happened to Old Master Huangfu, the entire Yin country would be thrown into turmoil. It must be known that if something happened to a family's patriarch, just the internal strife within the family would implicate a wide range of people. Just for the Zhang family's patriarch alone, the entire Huangfu family would be thrown into chaos. Of course, the Lin family naturally wouldn't be afraid if the Huangfu country was in chaos. However, if the neighboring country took advantage of this, then the 3 sons of the Lin family would die with everlasting regret. 5 days. 5 days. 5 days. The Huangfu family stood in front of the Lin family's door and didn't leave. It was for no other reason than to get information about the Huangfu Old Master. Lin family, you've gone too far. My grandfather came to the Lin family as a guest and hasn't returned for more than a month. What are you trying to do? Are you threatening the Huangfu family? Huangfu Jing spoke. 5 days had already worn down her patience. As a proud daughter of the heavens, she had never suffered such grievances. Lin family, are you trying to start a war between the families? You have to know that if you do this, the entire city will become hell. When that time comes, the Lin family won't be able to escape unscathed. After Huangfu Jing spoke, the rest of the Huangfu family also spoke. They couldn't wait to know what happened to the old master. Some of the collateral families also received news of the old master's death. Because of this, they could become the masters of the Huangfu family. In the Lin family, Master Lin sat in the main hall. Hearing the commotion outside the door, his brows were tightly knitted together and his expression was gloomy. He was clearly worried about the Huangfu family. Beside him, Huiyun's expression was even worse, especially when she heard the Huangfu family's clamor. Father, are we just going to let the Huangfu family go on like this? That's right, Father. We can go on like this. Sigh. Master Lin sighed. His expression was bitter. How could I not know? But that old man is already dead. If the Huangfu family finds out, it will definitely lead to a fight for the throne. If that was the case, the neighboring countries would seize this opportunity to invade the Yin country. If that was the case, then Boss and the others' sacrifice would be in vain. This Fire Cloud would rather go to the battlefield and kill the enemy than suffer like this, especially when he heard the endless clamoring at the door. Sigh, there's no other way. Just bear with it. I don't believe that they can continue like this. As he spoke, Master Lin stood up and walked toward the inner hall. He left behind Huiyun and the Lin family see. Seeing the old master leave, the two of them looked at each other helplessly. All right, sister-in-law, since father has said so, then let's bear with it. After all, after this incident, the Lin family's reputation will be greatly improved. Perhaps we can return to our former glory. This, all right. It seemed that because of this incident, Huiyun was tired. She stretched and then nodded to see. I'll go in first. With that, Huiyun left. Only the Lin family's see was left in the hall. Damn it. Don't push me too far. 2 days. If you don't leave in 2 days, I don't mind using some extreme methods. It seemed that the Lin family's see was completely anxious. Otherwise, this wouldn't have happened. Far away in the Divine Valley, Lin Ray didn't know that the Huangfu family had already arrived at the Lin family's residence and that a war of words had broken out. If Lin Ray was here, he would have killed them. Kill one to war the others. If killing one wasn't enough, then he would kill 2. If that still wasn't enough, then he would kill all of them. In Lu Changtian's opinion, 1 day wasn't enough at all, especially when it came to cultivating internal strength. To him, it was simply a pipe dream. It wasn't realistic at all. One day passed quickly. In the end, Lu Chantian didn't achieve what Lin Rei wanted. It seems that I have to change your cultivation path. Internal strength might not be suitable for you. No, Master. Lu Chantian was dumbfounded. He didn't think that Lin Rei would want to change his cultivation path. Wouldn't all his previous efforts be in vain? Thinking of the hard work he put in over the past month, he was unwilling. He was unwilling. As someone who had been reborn, Lin Rei understood Lu Chantian's thoughts. I know you're unwilling, but you haven't succeeded in cultivating internal strength for over a month. Do you think it's necessary to waste time on this? Hearing this, Lu Chantian was silent. He understood Lin Rei's meaning, but he was still unwilling. As a former city lord, he had his own dignity. At the same time, he wanted to be responsible for his own self-esteem. He was unwilling. He wouldn't admit defeat. After thinking for a while, his originally hesitant eyes became firm. Master, I still want to learn internal strength. I don't want to change my cultivation path. Lin Rei didn't expect Lu Chantian to be so stubborn. But this was precisely what Lin Rei appreciated. Are you sure? Yes, I'm sure. I want to cultivate internal strength. Are you sure? Lin Rei was confirmed again. Yes. Well, good. In that case, you must devote yourself to cultivation. You can't slack off. Do you understand? Yes, I understand, Master. Good. I will devote myself to guiding you so that you can learn internal strength in the shortest time possible. However, you must remember that this is your last chance. If you can't learn internal strength this time, I will have no choice but to change your cultivation path. Yes, I understand, Master. Lu Chantian had his wish fulfilled. He smiled. Amen, go pack up. We'll go to the depths of the Divine Valley. We'll train you as we go. After saying that, he turned around and walked toward the depths of the Divine Valley. As for Lu Chantian, he brought along the spiritual herbs and some other miscellaneous things he collected along the way before chasing after Lin Rei. Hidden power, Sai. Little Tian, do you know that this hidden power is only the beginning of cultivation? It can't even be considered as cultivation. If you can't even pass this stage, then your fire dragon vein can be considered to be crippled. Thinking about Lu Chantian's fire dragon vein, Lin Rei wanted to immediately stimulate it. If that was the case, Lin Rei believed that Lu Chantian would be able to cultivate internal strength in a day or even less. Moreover, his strength would increase greatly. He might even be able to reach the Foundation Establishment realm or even higher. However, it was a pity that he was like a clay bodhisattva crossing a river. He couldn't even protect himself. In this era where spiritual energy was scarce, he didn't even know how to recover his cultivation. How could he stimulate Lu Chantian's bloodline? Chapter 10:20. On the road to the depths of the Divine Valley, Lin Rei kept explaining to Lu Chantian about cultivation. Lu Chantian was like a child, obediently and seriously listening. He didn't show any signs of impatience. On the contrary, he looked very excited. Whenever Lin Rei talked about something interesting, Lu Chantian couldn't help but exclaim in excitement. In contrast, Lin Rei didn't show any reaction. After all, he was talking about the general knowledge of cultivation and not the martial arts knowledge of the heavenly fate world. At this moment, Lu Chantian knew that the world was so big and he was so insignificant. Especially when he heard Lin Rei talking about cultivation, he felt that he was in front of him. As for the matter of cultivation, he understood that the heavenly mandate martial cultivator realm was just the beginning of the path to cultivation. That was all. In contrast, Lu Chantian was looking forward to cultivation even more. At the same time, he was even more motivated. He wanted to become stronger. This was his wish since he was young. No matter how many years had passed, this wish was still there. As the saying goes, if one was born as a human, if one didn't put his life on the line, wouldn't it be a waste to live in this world? Master, how much further do we have to go? Lu Chantian, who was walking behind Lin Li, had a bitter look on his face as he dragged his tired body along. He clearly didn't want to go any further. You brat. Understanding Lu Changtian's meaning, Lin Ray smiled faintly and said, "Let's stop and rest for a few days. I just sensed the lake in front of us." After saying that, Lin Ray didn't say anything else and didn't stop. He even quickened his pace. In contrast, Lu Changtian, who was following behind him, had a bitter expression on his face. "Are you teasing me? Master, you've had an easy journey, but what about me?" After saying that, he couldn't help but recall the hardships he had to go through. "I helped you pick spiritual herbs and beat demonic beasts. What do you want me to do? I haven't rested for a day. It's very tiring." However, no matter how much he complained, Lin Ray acted as if he didn't hear him. He leisurely walked forward and hummed a tune. He was very uncomfortable. "I have a little donkey, but I never ride it." Lin Ray hummed the tune with a special charm. He sounded like a singer from Aquaplanet. No, it should be said that he sounded better than a singer. When Lin Ray hummed the tune, Lu Changtian's heart was filled with mixed feelings. He was very unhappy. However, what could he do? In the end, he could only swallow his anger. "Just you wait. When I surpass you one day, I will definitely beat you to the ground and let you have a good beating. I will let you experience what I'm feeling right now." If Lin Ray knew what Lu Changtian was thinking, he would definitely sneer, because what Lu Changtian said didn't exist at all. In terms of cultivation, Lu Changtian probably had no chance to catch up with Lin Ray in this lifetime. Even if Lu Changtian had the fire dragon vein, in front of the Hongming's sovereign bloodline, Lu Changtian's bloodline was trash. It wasn't even worthy of carrying the shoes of Lin Ray's bloodline. Thus, there was no way this was going to happen. At the same time, if Lin Li knew what Lu Changtian was thinking, then he would be in an extremely miserable state, so miserable that he would suspect that he had been born into this world. It wasn't a lie at all. At this moment, Lu Changtian already had this kind of feeling. With an exhausted body, he dragged big and small bags, as well as the delicious demon beast that he had killed along the way, and followed behind Lin Ray. Especially his luxurious clothes at this moment had naturally become a stripper. Coupled with the big and small bags, he was undoubtedly a refugee. Sigh, how did I end up with such a master? Looking at Lin Ray, Lu Changtian was filled with regret. However, even if Lin Ray treated him like this, if he was given another chance, he would still choose to become Lin Ray's disciple. Not for anything else, but to become an expert, to become the strongest person. This was probably what all martial cultivators thought in their hearts, what they wanted to pursue in their lifetime. Tiandang Mountain, at the entrance of the Sword Sect, Wang Yun brought Long Huaner and the other two, and finally returned to the sect today without stopping to rest. Looking up, he looked at the two vigorous and powerful horizontal boards of the Sword Sect. His expression was filled with silence and seriousness. At the same time, his heart was filled with endless worries. Almost 2 months had passed, so he still had 10 months left. What he needed to do now was to return to the sect and tell the sect master, Ling Jianzi, about this matter. Although he understood that even if he told Ling Jianzi that Lin Ray wanted to destroy the Sword Sect, he couldn't do anything about it. If he didn't understand Lin Ray's strength, of course, he would think that he was joking. However, Lin Ray's strength made him feel fear, boundless fear, as if his entire soul had fallen into a bottomless abyss with just a glance. Sigh, I hope this matter isn't as serious as I imagined it to be. If Lu Changtian were to make a move, it would still be possible. However, if Ruo Lin were to make a move, then... Thinking about this, Wang Yun frowned. Let's go. In a while, all of you will return to your respective residences. If I were to hear about what happened earlier from the other disciples, humph, all of you should know what the consequences are. After saying that, he ignored them and walked straight into the sect, toward the main hall at the apex. Along the way, when all the disciples saw Wang Yun, they all addressed him as elder. However, Wang Yun didn't seem to hear the disciples' respectful titles. At this moment, how could he be in the mood to care about these things? Right now, the only thing he was thinking about was whether Lin Ray would really come at the end of the year, and whether his sword sect would really be destroyed like what they said. Although all of this was still unknown, it was still necessary to nip the problem in the bud. Wang Yun's speed was very fast, so fast that he flashed past and finally arrived before the main hall. Standing at the entrance and feeling the tense atmosphere in the main hall, Wang Yun was taken aback. He revealed a solemn expression. What's going on? Why are all the elders back? Shouldn't they be recruiting disciples now? Why are they all back? Could it be because of Lin Rei's matter? Thinking of this possibility, he immediately shook his head and threw away this thought. No, they don't know about Lin Rei's matter at all. So why? Forget it. Let's go in first, Wang Yun said, shaking his head, throwing the troublesome matter to the back of his mind, and walked into the main hall randomly. Junior brother Wang Yun? Why are you back? At this moment, Wang Yun's appearance in the main hall attracted everyone's attention. There were doubts and doubts. Sect leader, perhaps this time, our sword sect is in big trouble. After hearing this sentence, everyone in the hall was taken aback, and their expressions turned solemn. You know about it? Wang Yun, who was walking, was stunned when he heard this sentence that came out of nowhere. He stopped moving forward and looked at Ling Jianzi in confusion. What did senior brother sect leader say? Wang Yun asked subconsciously. You? Wang Yun's question, coupled with his stunned expression just now, stunned Ling Jianzi. He began to suspect that Wang Yun didn't know what happened at all. But the problem was, if Wang Yun didn't know, then what did he mean just now? The sword sect was finished. He didn't say what he was thinking. He looked up at Wang Yun and said, the Yun Nation's Peace Heaven Sect said that they want to have a competition with our sword sect, but, Peace Heaven Sect? At this moment, Wang Yun knew that the conversation he had just had was completely wrong. It was completely wrong. However, there was a problem now. The Yun Nation's Peace Heaven Sect had been coveting the sword sect's 10,000 army sword for hundreds of years. However, they had always needed the sword sect to be strong. So why was it like this now? Seeing that Wang Yun was silent, Ling Jianzi spoke again. This time, their wager is the 10,000 army sword. However, I heard that they found an omnipotent expert from somewhere. So, if we agree, I'm afraid that this time we will be doomed. If we don't agree, our sect's reputation will be ruined because we don't dare to accept the challenge. I've discussed with my junior brothers. This time, no matter what, the sect's reputation is the most important. So we will fight. I'm the same as senior brother sect leader. I choose to fight. Otherwise, you rascals will probably go to heaven. The 6 elders, except for Wang Yun, spoke in unison. Their expressions were filled with anger. In the sword sect, the elders did not submit to anyone. However, when the sword sect encountered difficulties, they would turn their spearheads to the external enemy. Wasn't there an old saying? I can hit you because we are on the same side. There's no problem with small fights. However, others can't hit you. Seeing that the elders and the sword sect leader were so united, Wang Yun revealed a smile. However, this smile was uglier than crying. Senior brother sect leader, let's put aside the matter of the Peace Heaven sect first. Now, a more troublesome matter has appeared. Moreover, it is very likely that our sword sect will be destroyed because of this matter. What? Upon hearing Wang Yun's words, everyone was shocked. However, some people were still skeptical because, in their opinion, the strength of the sword sect had already made the principality tremble. Even a neighboring Peace Heaven sect did not dare to confront them head-on. Looking at everyone's current appearance, Wang Yun had already guessed it. Yes, this is not a joke. It is true. Moreover what? Ling Jianzi asked subconsciously. Moreover, we still have 10 months. If we don't think of a countermeasure within 10 months, we will be destroyed. Believe me, this is not an exaggeration at all. If you see that person's methods and cultivation base, you will definitely understand that what I'm saying now is not an exaggeration at all. Everyone knew Wang Yun very well. He was an upright person who never lied. Moreover, his personality was flexible and changeable. Now that he was acting like this, it meant that this matter might be true. However, who was the person that Wang Yun was talking about? Why was he so powerful? Why had they never heard of him before? Questions appeared in everyone's minds one after another. They were puzzled. The sect did not seem to have offended such a person. Why? Wang Yun, who was standing at the side, looked at Ling Jianzi as if he knew what he was thinking at the moment. The main reason for this matter is Huangfu from the secular world, Huangfu Jing. I don't know how she offended that lord. It's also because of her that that lord has a grudge against our sword sect. However, fortunately, there's still 10 months, and the person who will take action is only that lord's disciple, Lu Changtian. I hope that Lu Changtian's cultivation base won't increase too quickly within a year. Otherwise, our sword sect might really be destroyed. Of course, it's the same. That lord shouldn't take action. Otherwise, even if all of us attack together, I'm afraid we won't be a match for that lord. Hiss. Upon hearing Wang Yun's praise for that mysterious person, everyone could not help but gasp with shock on their faces. Are you kidding? Since when did the Yin country have such a powerhouse? Why didn't our sword sect's information network send back any information? Someone at the side said. He was the contract demon in charge of law enforcement. Don't make wild guesses. The most important thing now is what to do 10 months later. If we just wait like this, then is there no other way? That lord must destroy our sword sect? Ling Jianzi said, his expression full of unwillingness. Yes, Wang Yin nodded. I also begged that lord back then, but it seemed to be useless. I can see that lord has the intention to kill us. At this moment, everyone in the hall was silent. There was not a single sound in the huge hall. At this moment, one could probably hear a pin drop on the ground. It was not an exaggeration at all. At this moment, the hall was dead silent. No one knew how long this silence had lasted, and it was broken by Ling Jianzi. All right, don't think about it anymore. We'll deal with whatever comes our way. At most, after a moment of silence, he paused for a moment before speaking again. At most, we'll move the sect. After all, the sect's disciples are the foundation of the sect. As long as the disciples are safe and sound, the sect will still exist. What? Everyone exclaimed. Their expressions were filled with disbelief. Moving the sect was not an easy matter. Furthermore, the sword sect had stood here for thousands of years. Now, they were moving just like that. How could they be willing to do so? This was not only the sect, but also the place where they relied on for survival. Some people were even born here. Asking them to leave was equivalent to killing them. Is there no other way? Do we have to move? Wang Yin said. His voice was filled with sorrow. As the saying goes, men don't cry easily. It's only when one is deeply hurt. At this moment, tears appeared in Wang Yun's eyes. Yes, senior brother sect master. Please think of a way. This is our home. Moving is too big a matter. Yes, senior brother sect master. After one of them spoke, the other elders also spoke one after another. They all expressed that they did not want to leave. You all, looking at these companions and brothers who had accompanied him for a long time, Ling Jianzi did not know what to say. As the sect master, he must take care of everything. Now that they were facing a great enemy, there was only one way to move the sect. If what Wang Yin said was true, and that person was so powerful, this method was the best. There was no other way. Chapter 10:21. Divine Valley. After walking for 5 days, Lin Rei and Lu Shui arrived at the middle of the Divine Valley. Of course, this was only Lin Rei's guess. However, according to Lin Rei's speed, he should have reached the bottom of the valley by now. However, because of Lu Changtian, the distance they had to travel was greatly reduced. Lin Rei felt very helpless about this. However, this was still acceptable. After all, after cultivating for a period of time, his cultivation had reached the late stage of foundation establishment. Although it was still extremely weak, it was already very good in this place where spiritual energy was lacking. During this period of time, Lin Rei had a general idea about the Divine Valley. After all, Lin Rei had heard about the Divine Valley on the map before. He was very familiar with this place. Now that he had truly entered the Divine Valley, he felt that the Divine Valley was not as terrifying as the rumors and maps described. If someone who understood formations was here, they would be able to tell that the Divine Valley was a natural formation created by the heavens and earth. Although it was not particularly powerful, at the very least, it would not be easy for someone from the Destiny realm to break it. Conservatively speaking, if one wanted to break this natural formation, their cultivation would have to be at least at the martial god realm in the Destiny realm. Buzz. A buzzing sound that sounded like a vibration sounded in Lin Ray's ears. Something strange happened, and Lin Ray stopped moving forward. Why is there such a sound? In the Divine Valley, Lin Ray had no choice but to be careful. He had not completely recovered his cultivation yet. Although Lin Ray was not afraid of the formations here, the price he would have to pay to break them was enormous. After reaching the Foundation Establishment realm, Lin Ray had already opened his divine sense. He closed his eyes and released his divine sense. Everyone, everything, and everything within 1,000 meters appeared in Lin Ray's mind. Looking at the images in his mind, he did not see anything strange. His brows furrowed, and his expression turned ugly. What exactly is it? Even I can't detect it. Could it be that the area covered by my consciousness is not large enough? This was very likely. After all, his current spiritual sense could only cover a range of 6,000 meters. If it was at his peak, Lin Ray would have been able to see through the entire heaven's will. Forget it. I'll just deal with whatever comes my way. Unable to figure it out, Lin Ray ultimately chose to give up and let nature take its course. After all, his cultivation had yet to recover, so he had to be careful. What's wrong, Master? At this time, Lu Chantian caught up with Lin Ray with bags of various sizes. When he arrived at the room, Lu Chantian stopped and froze in place. Lu Chantian hurriedly went forward and asked, "And you caught up?" After being woken up by Lu Chantian, he recovered his senses and turned his head. When he saw Lu Chantian, a smile appeared on his face, and the haze from before was swept away. Lu Chantian, looking at his master, Lu Chantian sometimes really wanted to beat him to the ground and ruthlessly torture him. Unfortunately, he was no match for Lin Ray. In the end, this kind of thought could only become an extravagant hope. "Since you're here, hurry up and roast the meat for me. Can't you see that your master is still hungry?" What an unfilial disciple. Lin Ray himself didn't know why, but he liked to tease Lu Chantian whenever he saw him. He wanted to refute, but when he thought of how terrifying Lin Ray was, the final result was to compromise. "I understand. Don't worry, I'll definitely cook it for you." Without saying anything, he silently walked to an open space and started a fire skillfully. At this moment, he saw that Lu Chantian had been cooking a lot during this period of time. Lin Ray was very satisfied with Lu Chantian. After all, he chose it himself. Even if he regretted it, it was useless. Moreover, the other party was still a little bit outstanding. Buzz! Suddenly, the sound he heard before rang out. At this moment, Lin Ray was very sure that this sound really existed. Moreover, it seemed that only he could hear it because Lu Chantian was busy and didn't feel it at all. Just what is it? Why is it able to affect my Tao heart? Lin Ray was very interested in the origin of that mysterious sound. He could clearly feel that the moment the mysterious sound rang out, his originally calm heart seemed to be affected by that sound and started beating nonstop. As a former sage, Lin Ray was very clear about his Tao heart. Although it wasn't as firm as a rock, it wasn't the kind of Tao heart that would be affected by random things or sounds. The first time the sound rang out, Lin Ray might have thought it was an accident. But now, when the sound rang out a second time, he still had the same feeling. He knew that it wasn't a coincidence. It was real. There really was something in the Divine Valley. Moreover, this thing could affect his Tao heart. Everyone was curious, especially Lin Ray. His curiosity was off the charts. He wanted to see just what it was that could cause his Tao heart to tremble. Thinking about that, he turned his head and said, "Brat, you stay here and wait. I'll go ahead and take a look. Remember, if you encounter something powerful and you can't do anything about it, use the secret technique I taught you to escape." Although this method is very shameful, and although there are powerful demon beasts here, there's no other way. If it wasn't for me, your cultivation would at most reach here. As for the rest of the journey, remember, don't try it. Otherwise, even if I wanted to save you, it would be too late. You?" Hearing Lin Rei's words, Lu Chantian wanted to refute. But when he saw the concern in Lin Rei's eyes, his rebuttal disappeared. "Don't worry, I know what to do." In the end, Lu Chantian let out a long sigh and nodded. "As for you, don't try to be brave. Remember, you're not alone. You brought someone with you." Although his words were a bit strange, he could feel the concern in them. "And I know. However, don't think that saying this will stop you from cooking. I'm just going out for a while. I'll be back soon. If you don't see me cook before I come back, your cultivation will be doubled." "You." The words of concern for Lin Rei came to an abrupt stop. His expression became extremely ugly. However, Lin Rei didn't care about it all. Looking at Lu Chantian's fierce gaze, Lin Rei smiled. He didn't say anything and turned to walk deeper into the valley. All that was left for Lu Chantian was his back. Looking at that back, he didn't have his usual imposing manner. Lu Chantian only felt loneliness. Be careful. Looking at that back, perhaps even Lu Chantian himself didn't know that in these 2 months, he had already acknowledged Lin Rei's identity. Otherwise, he wouldn't be like this. As for what Lu Chantian was thinking, Linley didn't know. All he knew was that he had to raise Lu Chantian into an expert who could stand above all others, an expert who could stand on his own. After leaving Lu Chantian, Lin Rei walked alone into the depths of the Divine Valley. However, at this moment, Lin Rei was a bit strange. With every step, Lin Rei would stop, close his eyes, and release his consciousness before leaving. However, what disappointed Lin Rei was that he still couldn't accurately sense the existence of that thing. Where is it? Standing in place, his face was filled with confusion and worry. He was confused because he didn't know where to go to find the thing that puzzled him. As for his worry, of course, it was because of Lu Chantian. It was undeniable that Lu Chantian's cultivation had improved a lot during this period of time. However, when he came here, he discovered that the cultivation of the demonic beasts here was very strong. It was fine before the middle level, but once they surpassed the middle level or entered the middle level with Lu Chantian's current cultivation, it was like hitting a rock with an egg. They couldn't withstand a single blow. As for Lu Chantian, he didn't care if there was a problem with him. Although Lin Rei was no longer in the sage realm and wasn't the same person as before, his protective nature was indeed imprinted in his soul. Lin Rei's rule was that he could bully his people to the extent that others couldn't. If others dared to make a move, then Lin Rei would return the favor tenfold. This was Lin Rei, an extremely protective cultivator. The cultivators of the divine realm and the immortal realm were very clear about this. Buzz! At this moment, when Lin Rei was looking around, that sound appeared again. It was a vibrating sound. At this moment, Lin Rei could hear it even more clearly. It was as if that thing was right next to his ear. Damn it! What is it? Why can't I find it? He seriously felt the changes in his surroundings and operated his divine sense to the extreme. In the northwest, a trace of spiritual energy disorder flashed. Although the disorder was very weak, it was still discovered by Lin Rei. Bastard, I finally found you. Just you wait. When I find you, I'll have to see just what it is that can affect my Tao heart, he said viciously. Then, he rolled up his sleeves and looked like he was about to go all out. With a leap, he instantly arrived at the place where the spiritual energy disorder was. An illusion array? Carefully feeling the changes in front, Lin Rei felt a trace of the aura of an array. As expected, a confident smile flashed across Lin Rei's face. He was sure that the place where the spiritual energy disorder was in front of him was the existence of an array. However, looking at the strength of the array, it was at most a heaven-rank array. Such a weak array, in front of a person who had cultivated the array to the saint realm, was like a preset array. It didn't matter whether it existed or not. Come, let me see what you are hiding in your heart. He raised his hand, and mysterious runes flashed. A paragraph of bitter and difficult-to-understand incantation appeared in Lin Rei's mouth. Then, he waved his hand at the place where the spiritual energy disorder was. Break! Boom! A muffled sound echoed. The scenery and the surrounding scene disappeared and was replaced by a cave. The entrance was full of weeds, as if no one had come to this cave for a long time. The appearance of this scene was clearly beyond Lin Ray's imagination. He didn't expect this scene at all. You are here. Just as Lin Ray frowned and thought about whether to enter to investigate, a man's voice flashed in Lin Ray's mind. While he was stunned, he asked, "Who are you? Why did you make my Tao heart tremble?" Lin Ray was very curious about this. Moreover, from the voice just now, that person seemed to know him and had been waiting for him. "Ha, Lin Ray, I have been waiting for you for a long time. Come in. You will know who I am after you come in." The voice sounded again. After hesitating for a moment, Lin Ray finally couldn't resist the curiosity in his heart and the throbbing in his heart. He clearly felt that his heart had made the right choice to let him in. I want to see what kind of thing you are." With that, Lin Ray took a step forward and his figure disappeared into the cave. At the entrance to the cave, Lin Li cast his gaze over. What he saw was a long, pitch-black tunnel. Phew! A gust of wind blew by. The wind was filled with the smell of blood and rotten things that made Lin Ray want to vomit. It was very unpleasant. Frowning, the curiosity on his face disappeared and was replaced with caution. The smell of blood here meant that this path was not simple. Interesting. The corner of his lips curled up, and an evil smile appeared. He walked forward. However, Lin Ray was very cautious right now. After all, his cultivation was not as good as before. He was only at the foundational level. He had to be careful. After walking for a while, a beast-like roar came from the front. As expected, Lin Ray wasn't surprised by this roar at all. After all, he had just arrived. Clang! The sound of a sword rang. Unknowingly, a meter-long sword appeared in Lin Ray's hand. Lin Ray manipulated his cultivation to the extreme. Myriad Sword Technique. One sword to break all techniques. The Myriad Sword Technique was activated by Lin Ray. The moment a beast appears, the Myriad Sword Technique will rush out and kill the beast. After doing all this, Lin Ray walked forward without worry. At this time, deep inside the cave, a very spacious and grand cave appeared. At the top of the cave, an altar-like existence appeared. On top of the altar, a long spear with 9 dragons carved on it was inserted into the ground. What was surprising was that around the long spear, there were 9 iron chains as thick as an adult's arm that pinned it to the ground. If someone saw this scene, the first thing they would think was that this long spear was not simple. Or else it wouldn't have been sealed here. "Master, hurry up and come." A middle-aged man's voice rang in the spacious hall. His voice was full of excitement, as if he had been waiting for this moment for a very long time. "Don't worry. Since Master is here, he won't be far from us." "Yes, second brother. Master is a heaven-blessed expert. His cultivation has even broken through to the sage realm. Although I don't know why his cultivation has become weak now, don't forget how powerful he was before." Yes, I agree. Master's strength is not something we can imagine." At this moment, many different voices rang out. If Lin Li was here, he would definitely recognize that this long spear was none other than the Chaos Dragon Spear. As for the person who spoke, there was no need to think to know that it was the 9 dragons sealed in the long spear. However, when Ruo Lin Lei saw the dragon spear, he would be even more shocked. At the same time, he would be puzzled. He appeared out of nowhere and didn't find any clues. Now that the dragon spear appeared, it was obvious that this was not a coincidence. It was as if it was arranged in advance. Chapter 1022. Lin Ray had no idea about all of this. Of course, even if he knew, he wouldn't care. He believed in his own strength and luck. Cultivators were meant to fight with people, the earth, and the heavens. It was a joy to say that cultivators relied on their own efforts to reach a high level. That was pure nonsense. If a cultivator wanted to reach a high level, other than their own efforts, they also needed luck. Without luck, no matter how good one's talent was, it would be nothing more than a dream. Oh, the roar of the beast was getting closer and closer. From the sound, Lin Ray could tell that this beast's cultivation was very strong. Even with his current strength, he couldn't handle it. At this moment, Lin Ray let out a sigh of relief. For some reason, his heart calmed down. Clearly, not letting Lu Zhantian follow him was the right decision. If he had followed him, based on the aura of the demonic beasts in front of him, Linley would have had a hard time dealing with him. If he brought along Lu Zhantian, without a doubt, Lu Zhantian would become a burden to Lin Ray, and Lin Ray would worry about Lu Zhantian and lose the initiative. If such a strange discovery really happened, then in the end, not to mention entering the deepest part of the cave, even wanting to leave this place would be extremely difficult. Looks like I have to give it my all this time. Looking ahead, Lin Ray's face didn't have a trace of relief. There was only endless worry and excitement. The battle intent in his body soared to the sky. Although he was a little worried, as a former powerhouse, Lin Ray had his own dignity. In front of such an ant-like beast, he couldn't be timid. If it was in the past, not to mention a solemn expression, a single finger would be enough to crush the other party to death. Moreover, it would be as easy as blowing off dust. Unfortunately, the current him wasn't as strong as he was in the past. However, the arrogance of a strong cultivator still remained. The 10,000 sword arts was activated to the extreme. It contained 3 feet of cold light, and his divine sense was released to the extreme. If it wasn't for Lin Ray's powerful divine sense, there would only be one result for him: to use his divine sense to such an extent at such a low level. That would be his divine sense collapsing to the extreme. If that really happened, Ing and the others in the realm of the gods would probably go crazy. However, the ones who wanted to go crazy the most were the system and the little dragon. After all, this was their masterpiece. If Lin Ray's divine sense collapses because of this, then the system and the little dragon would probably go crazy. If a person's divine sense collapsed, although it could be repaired, the things needed to repair it were astronomical. It could even be said that it was very lucky to find one of the things needed. Moreover, the most important point was that the divine soul had to be repaired within 6 hours of the divine soul's collapse. After 6 hours, even the god of creation would not be able to do it. Moreover, it was not certain whether there was a god of creation in this world. Found it. Just as Lin Ray's divine sense was on the verge of collapsing, finally, not far ahead, the figure of a gore-fiend dragon with 2 meatballs on its head fell into Lin Ray's divine sense. Damn it, is this still the age of chaos? How could something like a gore-fiend dragon appear here? Looking at the gore-fiend dragon, Lin Ray had the urge to die. The gore-fiend dragon was a creature born from heaven and earth, but it was a very terrifying existence. It was even listed as a species that must die once it appeared. It was because the gore-fiend dragon was too powerful. It was so powerful that it made people despair. In the divine world, Lin Ray had read a legend in the Danzong Sect's library. The main character of the legend was the gore-fiend dragon in front of him. It was said that the 4 Hunyuan heavenly saints had fought the gore-fiend dragon. That battle was so terrifying that it almost destroyed the surrounding realms. In that battle, 3 died and 1 was seriously injured. Even so, they only managed to seal the gore-fiend dragon in the end. It was said that the last Hunyuan heavenly saint, who was seriously injured, died in less than 10,000 years. This matter was a reminder to the people of the divine world. Once the gore-fiend dragon appeared, it must be killed. It didn't matter if the other party was young or not. Although this would implicate some innocent people, no one wanted the same thing to happen again. They couldn't bear the consequences, and they couldn't bear the disaster that this matter would bring. Now, Lin Ray was a little dumbfounded. Looking at the gore-fiend dragon in front of him, Lin Ray had a headache. However, he was also very excited. In his opinion, it was the honor of his life to be able to fight with such an expert. One had to know that 3 Hunyuan heavenly saints couldn't kill it. However, looking at the gore-fiend dragon in front of him, it was very obvious that it hadn't reached adulthood yet. It was still in the state of a cub. Lin Ray was a little relieved. F***, what's going on? Shouldn't this thing only exist in the divine world? Lin Ray couldn't understand why the Gorfiend dragon would appear here. F***, forget it. I don't want to think about it anymore. Who cares? Do what you want. Shaking his head, he threw the doubts and worries in his heart to the back of his mind. His battle intent rose again, reaching a peak. Lin Ray looked as if he wanted to give it a try. It was as if he wanted to rush up and fight at any time. A woo! A bestial roar sounded, as if it had sensed Lin Ray's provocation. The roar was mixed with a powerful king's pressure. Oomph! The Gorfiend dragon's pressure surged like a raging tide. As a Foundation establishment cultivator, Lin Ray was instantly locked on by the pressure. He groaned, and a trace of scarlet blood flowed out from the corner of his mouth. F***, are you messing with me? Feeling his internal organs churning, Lin Ray was dumbfounded. Just a mere pressure made him bleed. If the Gorfiend dragon directly attacked, he didn't know what would happen to him. Looking straight ahead, Lin Ray suddenly had two choices in his heart. The first was to leave this dangerous and uncertain place. The second was to stay and fight with the Gorfiend dragon. If he killed the Gorfiend dragon and ate its gallbladder, he might not be able to recover, but he would at least be able to recover 1/3 of his strength. The moment the two choices appeared, Lin Ray was tormented. He had a headache. Between the two choices, it was obvious that Lin Ray preferred the latter. However, when he thought of the opponent's strength, he began to have a difficult choice. What should I do? Whoosh! In front of Lin Ray, where the Gorfiend dragon was, it had already noticed Lin Ray. As a carnivore, Lin Ray was undoubtedly the most delicious food. Moreover, it had been here for so many years. There were too few demonic beasts and meat that could enter the cave. It had been 100 years. It had not eaten a real meat in 100 years. Now that it saw meat, how could it give up? Its figure flashed for a moment, and in the next moment it moved. Its long body was like a sharp arrow, disappearing in an instant. When the Gorfiend dragon appeared again, it was already in front of Lin Ray. Its huge body did not hinder the Gorfiend dragon's agility at all. All of this happened in an instant. What you bang? PFFF. Lin Ray's divine sense was very sharp. However, when the Gorfiend dragon disappeared, Lin Ray did not react. Instead, when the Gorfiend dragon appeared in front of him and swung its tail, Lin Ray reacted. However, it was already too late. The moment the Gorfiend dragon's tail swung onto Lin Ray's body, Lin Ray suddenly felt as if two mountains were squeezing him in the middle. His internal organs were shaken by this sudden impact, and his internal organs were instantly displaced. A mouthful of old blood spurted out, and his complexion instantly paled. His entire body became dispirited, and he was in an extremely miserable state. Bang! Bang! Lin Ray's figure was sent flying. He crashed into the stone wall 100 meters away, and only then did he come to a stop. Just like that, the stone wall that Lin Ray crashed into also shattered into pieces. A deep hole appeared. The cracks around the deep hole were like spider webs, densely covering the entire place. PFFF. Another mouthful of old blood spurted out, and his face became even paler. The pain in his chest caused Lin Ray to be exceptionally spirited at this moment. And Mother****, lying on the ground and feeling the pain in his inner palace, Lin Ray was stunned. He did not expect the Gorfiend dragon to suddenly attack. However, what surprised him even more was that he was actually injured and in such a miserable state. Muchkov, how many years has it been? How many years has it been since someone was able to injure me like this? This feeling is very, very nostalgic. At this moment, Lin Ray's words were very similar to that of a masochist. If someone who did not know the situation heard it, they would probably think that Lin Ray was beaten silly. However, those who knew Lin Ray would definitely understand what he meant. He raised his head and looked at the bronze bell-sized, blood-red eyes in front of him. A cold light burst out from the blood-red eyes, and he felt as if his divine soul was being frozen. Gorfine Dragon. Hee, it is indeed powerful. Previously, he thought that the Gorfine Dragon was at most exaggerated by the people in the book. But now, right now, he wanted to correct them. The Gorfine Dragon was indeed very powerful. At least, he thought that the Gorfine Dragon was very powerful. Right now, it was still in the state of cub. Once it matured and fully grew up, how powerful would it be? If the fully grown Gorfine Dragon encountered him at his peak, who would be the loser? At this moment, when Lin Ray thought of this question, he really wanted to give it a try. However, he understood that this was just an extravagant hope. With his current strength, not to mention finding his previous body, Lin Ray would thank the heavens if he could break through the void and leave this place. When he got up, the wound on his chest was affected. He sucked in a mouthful of cold air, and his face became even paler. Ow! On the opposite side of Lin Ray, the Gorfine Dragon was furious when it saw that the human it had sent flying could still stand up. It felt that its dignity had been despised and provoked. It couldn't stand it. It had been many years since it had been provoked and despised by a human. What's wrong? Are you angry? Looking at the Gorfine Dragon's shocking roar, Lin Ray grinned and said, "You only have this little ability, and you want to kill the Emperor in one move? Do you think it is possible? Even when you are an adult, I'm afraid you can't defeat the Emperor in one move. What's more, you're just a cub now." Ow. Hearing Lin Ray's words, the Gorfine Dragon, who already had the intelligence of a 5- or 6-year-old child, was even more furious. What's the use of roaring? If you have the ability, let me in. As long as you let me in, I will show you the true strength of the Emperor. How about it? Lin Ray was gambling. He bet that the Gorfine Dragon would be fooled. After all, demonic beasts valued their dignity very much, so, his bell-sized eyes stared at Linley, a savage light flashing in his eyes. It was as though he was mocking Linley, as though he was saying, "You think you can defeat me if I let you in?" Seeing this, Lin Ray smiled. He felt that he had made the right bet. "What? Do you dare? If you don't dare, I will leave now. As for your reputation..." As he spoke, Lin Ray turned around and made a gesture that said, "If you don't dare, I will leave." It was very funny. Just as Lin Ray turned around, the Gorfine Dragon roared. The Gorfine Dragon's huge body moved to the side, making a path that only Lin Ray could pass through. The huge Gorfine Dragon nodded toward the depths of the cave, as if to say, "Go in. I will wait here for you to come back and fight with me. When the time comes, I will eat you up." Hee. Lin Ray smiled. He didn't expect the Gorfine Dragon to be so gullible. Of course, there was a tricky problem. He could go in, but what if there was nothing he wanted inside? If there was nothing that could increase his combat strength, the final result would be the same. That was to be eaten. However, a chance was better than nothing. Looking at the path that the Gorfine Dragon made, Lin Ray's face turned serious. He stepped forward and walked in. Indeed, with the protection of the Goreworm, they encountered many monstrous beasts on the way. However, upon sensing the Goreworm behind Linley's back, all of them cowered away, no longer bothering with Linley. Lin Ray smiled at this. He just wanted to ask for a chance, but he didn't expect to get a bodyguard in the end. Along the way, Lin Ray didn't encounter any difficulties. Finally, he reached the end of the cave. Phew, I'm finally here. Looking at the cave door in front of him, a line of text appeared. Seeing those words, Linley pursed his lips and began to laugh. "I traverse the 4 seas, stand above the 9 heavens. With a spear in hand, the world is mine." Damn, where did this idiot come from? How dare he say such shameless words? If this was the realm of the gods, the person who wrote this sentence would probably be caught and whipped by the people of the Holy Lands. Thinking about it, it was really possible. Even in this aspect, he wouldn't dare to say such shameless words. Laughing was one thing, but he still had to go in. He wanted to see what was hidden behind this door. Patter. Placing both hands on both sides of the door, he exerted force in his arms and released his foundation establishment stage cultivation. "Open for me." Suddenly, a fierce aura was released from Lin Ray's body, and the originally closed door was pushed open. Ka 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 ka. A sound like a mechanism was activated. The originally closed door that seemed to be made of gold, stone, and iron cracked open. So F asterisk King Heavy. Both of his arms were throbbing with pain. Linley couldn't help but curse, then continue. Time slowly passed, and in the blink of an eye, an hour had passed. Finally, the door was completely pushed open. Pong! A muffled sound rang out, filling the entire cave. Raising his head, he looked at the scene behind the door with a curious gaze. In the next moment, the smile on his face froze. In his mind, he remembered what he said when he saw the words on the door. Who is so shameless? This sentence was like a demon's voice lingering in Lin Ray's mind. It was as if it was engraved in his mind. Chapter 1023. Chaos, Dragon Spear. Looking at the long spear in front of him that was surrounded by 9 azure dragons, Linley was stunned. His entire body was in a daze. One had to know that the Chaos Dragon Spear was the weapon that his predecessor had always used. He would never have thought that the weapon used by his predecessor would appear here, and in such a manner. We soul beasts pay our respects to Master. Just as Lin Ray was in a daze, the 9 dragons rushed out of the Chaos Dragon Spear and knelt down in front of Lin Ray in the air. The scene was very shocking. How is this possible? At this moment, the Bloodhorn Dragon, who was standing behind Lin Ray, looked at the scene in front of him with a funny expression. He was no longer as calm as before and was completely dumbfounded. He had never seen a dragon before, but had heard of it. The Bloodhorn Dragon clan had inherited memories and was very familiar with the Dragon clan. After seeing the 9 dragons, he immediately recognized them. When the Untainted Land was first created, the ancestors of the Dragon clan were the Azure Dragons. However, the memories in his mind told him that there were only 4 Azure Dragons at that time. But now, what the hell was going on? 9 dragons. What the hell was going on? He wanted to drag his ancestors out of the 9 underworlds and let them tell him what was going on. All of you get up. Looking at the 9 dragons kneeling in front of him in the air, Lin Ray hurriedly waved his hand to get them to get up. Yes, we accept your order. The 9 dragons got up and saw that Lin Ray and the rest were very excited. After being trapped here for so long, they were finally going to get out. How could they not be excited? Master, you came at the right time. We have been trapped here for so many years. Do you think it's easy to get that iron chain for us to get out? Yes, Master. We have been here for so long that we are almost useless. Master, hurry up. We really can't stand it here. There is nothing here. I'm starting to miss the time when I accompanied Master to conquer the world. At this moment, the 9 azure dragons were chattering like children. Looking at them, Lin Ray was dumbfounded. He remembered that the 9 azure dragons were not like this back then. Why did they talk so much after not seeing them for a while? However, Lin Ray wasn't interested in them. He lowered his head to look at the metal chain that was wrapped around the chaotic dragon spear and frowned. Who sealed the dragon spear here? And with your strength, don't you know how to resist? He knew how powerful the 9 dragons were. Even the blood Cheelin was no match for them. Now they were being sealed. He couldn't figure it out. Also, how did you get here? I remembered that I didn't bring anything with me when I left. One question after another was asked. Suddenly, the 9 azure dragons in the sky were stunned. They all looked at each other, their faces full of confusion. Ew. The azure dragon's reaction was enough to prove everything. It proved that they didn't know how he had appeared, let alone how he had been sealed. Lin Ray didn't have any hope for them. It was probably a fool's dream to get information about his appearance from them. That? Master, we don't know either. After what happened to you back then, we were forced into a deep sleep. When we woke up, we were already here and sealed. As for what happened along the way, we really don't know. As expected, hearing their explanation, Lin Ray thought to himself. It was just as he thought. They didn't know anything. Looking at the pitiful azure dragons in the sky, Lin Ray felt a chill. He really couldn't figure out what the 9 Azure Dragons had been through in the past few years. Forget it. I'll leave them here to deal with the matter at hand. Although Lin Ray was shocked, he wouldn't forget about the blood Qilin behind him. After making the decision, he instantly released his cultivation. He raised his hand and sent out mysterious seals. He also chanted a series of incomprehensible incantations. However, the Azure Dragons in the sky reacted brightly. They were so excited that they couldn't control themselves. They knew that they were about to regain their freedom. Suddenly, after Lin Ray chanted the incantations, the Chaos Dragon spear that was originally silent seemed to have come to life. Sound of a spear rang out from the Chaos Dragon spear. Roar! The sound of the spear rang out, and the blood Qilin roared. Its roar was trembling, as if it was expressing its fear of the Chaos Dragon spear. Of course, this didn't include its excitement. However, the chances of that happening were very small. Gotcha! The sound of something breaking echoed throughout the cave. One of the 9 chains broke. Roar, Master is too awesome. Master is still the best. Master is too awesome. I love you so much. Master, hurry up. I'm going crazy from holding it in. Lin Ray, hearing the words of the 9 Azure Dragons, Lin Li's entire body trembled. His heart was filled with disgust. He was now certain that while he was gone, the 9 Azure Dragons must have experienced something unknown. Otherwise, they wouldn't have said such misleading words. Master, seeing that the 9 Azure Dragons had no intention of stopping, Lin Ray finally couldn't hold it in any longer. He shouted to the sky, "All of you shut up. Otherwise, don't blame the Emperor for making you stay here for a while longer." The moment Rinpoche finished speaking, the entire cave fell silent. One could probably hear a pin drop on the ground. At this moment, Lin Ray was very satisfied. But at the next moment, Lin Ray really had the urge to die. "Master, you scare me." One of the Azure Dragons spoke. Its words were full of flattery. However, its voice didn't match the situation. It even sounded a little disgusting. "F***, I'm done. I'm done." Lin Ray stopped chanting. He turned around and was about to leave. He really couldn't stand these old things anymore. As the saying went, enough was enough. But now they were simply intolerable. "Ugh. Don't, Master. We won't talk about it anymore." Lin Ray turned around and left. The 9 Azure Dragons were completely flustered. They hurriedly promised. Lin Ray, who didn't want to leave in the first place, stopped and turned around to look at the Azure Dragons. "Are you sure? If you do what you did just now again, don't talk about saving you. You can stay here forever. Anyway, the sage probably won't keep using weapons. Don't dare." This time, the 9 Azure Dragons were afraid. If they really didn't save them like Lin Ray said, they would have to stay here forever. This wasn't what they wanted. "Yes, remember what you said." After saying that, Lin Ray returned to his original position and chanted the spell again. "Gotcha! Gotcha!" This time, Lin Ray increased the speed. The chains broke one by one. The Azure Dragons in the sky were filled with excitement. However, they didn't dare to make sound. How is this possible? Who is this person? Why would a dragon recognize a person as their master? And such a weakling. In the eyes of the Gorfine dragon, Lin Ray was a weakling. Moreover, he was an extremely weak weakling. F***, if the Azure Dragons are saved, then will I still be a match for this person? After thinking through this question, killing intent burst out from his eyes. His figure moved and disappeared. Bastard! Lin Ray, who was removing the seal, felt the killing intent behind him. Lin Ray's heart shook helplessly. Lin Ray really didn't dare to compliment the Gorfine dragon's reputation. He didn't expect the Gorfine dragon to sneak attack him from behind. "Oh, ant-like existence, you actually dare to sneak attack my master when he is removing the seal for us. This sovereign will cripple you." Just as Lin Ray couldn't react, one of the Azure Dragons moved. It charged at the Gorfine dragon with anger. Bastard! Seeing the Azure Dragon charging down, the Gorfine dragon, who was still in his infant state, panicked. The inheritance in his mind made him understand how powerful the Azure Dragon was. Most importantly, the dragon race's bloodline was specialized in restraining the Gorfiend dragon race. The Gorfiend dragon had subconsciously lost to this Azure Dragon who had lived for who knows how long. Scram! My master is not someone you can touch. The Azure Dragon charged in front of the Gorfiend dragon. Without saying anything, it used a divine dragon tail whip. The speed was so fast that the Gorfiend dragon felt despair. With a muffled bang, the Gorfiend dragon was sent flying by the tail whip, just like Lin Ray. A whoa! A roar came from the Gorfiend dragon's mouth. From the roar, one could tell that the Gorfiend dragon was in great pain. Furthermore, at the place where the Gorfiend dragon was attacked, the original protective scales were shattered. Blood spurted out like a small spring. Humph! And you actually dare to be arrogant in front of this exalted. Back then, your Gorfiend dragon ancestor didn't even dare to fart in front of this exalted. You, on the other hand, actually dared to attack. Tell me, should I say that you're arrogant and conceited? Or should I say that you're courting death? Unfortunately, one could tell that the Azure Dragon was serious. One could tell from the disdain in his eyes. Oh, in the distance, the Gorfiend dragon who was lying on the ground was filled with anger. He was unconvinced. He wanted nothing more than to rush up and swallow Lin Ray whole. Whoosh, he moved. With unwillingness, anger, and the dignity of their Gorfiend dragon race, the Gorfiend dragon soared into the sky. He knew that he was no match for the Azure Dragon. However, he wanted to fight for his dignity. Hey, not bad. You have guts. Seeing that the Gorfiend dragon was not afraid of death, the disdain in the Azure Dragon's eyes disappeared. It was replaced with seriousness and respect. Looking at the Gorfiend dragon, the Azure Dragon said, "Are you sure you want to do such a foolish thing?" "Oh, whoa, oh, whoa." The Azure Dragon's words caused the Gorfiend dragon to stop. He roared a few times as if saying, "Even if I can't defeat you, I still want to fight. I want to fight for my dignity. I want to fight for the dignity and honor of my Gorfiend dragon race." Very well. Since that's the case, this exalted will fulfill your wish. Without saying anything more, the Azure Dragon's figure disappeared like a sharp sword. Bastard, where did he go? The Azure Dragon's disappearance undoubtedly caused the Gorfiend dragon to feel extremely uneasy. With a frightened expression, the Gorfiend dragon scanned his surroundings. He activated his spiritual awareness. However, the result was not ideal. Secretly, the Azure Dragon sensed the Gorfiend dragon's spiritual awareness probing him. He sighed inwardly. I never expected that this little thing's spiritual awareness would be this powerful. Looking at the Gorfiend dragon, the Azure Dragon thought to himself, what a pity. Although his aptitude is good, his bloodline is not that pure. Otherwise, I would be able to recover some of my cultivation by devouring him. Ever since he was thrown here for no reason, he found that his cultivation had plummeted from the original Sage realm to the current heavenly immortal realm. Now, he could only bully a little child. If the experts of the divine realm or the immortal realm knew about the 9 dragons' current state, they would probably rush over to snatch them. At that time, an unavoidable war of the century would unfold. The Dragon Clan was full of treasures. Even their divine soul was a rare existence. Moreover, these 9 dragons were the ancestors of the dragons, the Azure Dragon. Forget it. Let's finish this quickly and help Master recover his strength. After all, this is not the way to go in this age of chaos. Thinking about this, the Azure Dragon stopped hiding. His huge figure appeared in front of the Gorfiend dragon. He opened his bloody mouth and bit down on the Gorfiend dragon's vital point. Poochie! Roar! The Gorfiend dragon was 3 feet away from the Azure Dragon. The Gorfiend dragon was like a small insect being held in the Azure Dragon's mouth. Blood flowed out, and his aura was weak. He looked very miserable. Lin Ray was clear about the scene behind him. However, he did not stop the Gorfiend dragon. Thinking about how he was defeated by the Gorfiend dragon, it was good to let him suffer a little. Crack, crack, the sound of 2 chains breaking could be heard. This was the last 2 chains. Finally, the Chaos Dragon Spear regained its freedom. Whoa! A vibration came from the Chaos Dragon Spear. The 9 dragons felt that the seal on their bodies had been broken. At this moment, the 9 dragons could not help but roar to the sky. Rumble. Lin Ray understood the 9 dragons' feelings. However, he was also in a bad mood at this moment. One should know that the 9 dragons were very powerful. Now that the 9 dragons were chanting in unison, the power was not something a small cave could withstand. Previously, it was fine because of the existence of the array. But now that the array was broken, the 9 dragons were completely released. The cave could no longer control the 9 dragons' cultivation. Raising his head, he saw that Flash was on the verge of collapse, as though it might collapse at any moment. Suddenly, Linley turned his head to look at the 9 dragons. I'll give you 3 breaths of time. If I hear you make even the slightest sound, I don't mind resealing you. You should be aware of my strength. Although my cultivation base is no longer there, I can still easily set up formations. Silence, a deathly silence. The 9 dragons didn't dare to speak again. The excitement on their faces had completely disappeared at this moment, and it was replaced by fear. They knew Lin Ray's array skills very well. Just like what Lin Ray said, although his cultivation was not here, it was more than enough to seal them with an array. Roar. However, in the dead silence, the Gorfiend dragon's roar resounded throughout the hall. Lin Ray frowned slightly and turned to look. At this moment, the Gorfiend dragon was thrown to the ground by the Azure dragon. It was lying on the ground with blood flowing out from its 7 inches. It looked very miserable. Looking at the Gorfiend dragon, Lin Ray could not help but sympathize with it. Poor Gorfiend dragon. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.